Man, good Wednesday, good Wednesday, good Wednesday. How are y'all beautiful people doing? Hopefully y'all having a great day, a great evening. Let me say it because it is evening time. I'm hoping y'all have a great evening. Um, Today is a show that I really think amongst our community I really wanted to do this, right? But let me do this because I don't want to interrupt no part of this show at all. So I need to go and get this out of the way. My Funko Pop of the week is Spike Lee. Funko Pop of the week is Spike Lee, and album of the week is School Days. Movie directed by Spike Lee, also played in the movie. So I want to do that and get that out of the way first because today this show it's another great important topic that really needs to be talked about. Really amongst the black community, right? It really does. It's very important because you know I'm all for black love. I'm all for it. But now I'm to the point, man. Look, I even told my son, I don't care as long uh as long as you a woman's gonna respect you, love you, and treat you well. I have no problem with whatever color she is now. I mean, that's why I'm to that point because uh I seen what's out there. I seen the date market, and it's rough. It's rough, and so I know for the individual who has son what they're going they're going through. Where the young adults, grown ass adults, older adults. I understand what you're going through. It's tough. It's tough, but you just got to be vigilant. You got to be patient. You got to just make sure you vet well. You know what I'm saying, and have a little grace. It's going to take some time for some of these women to get their mindset right to be looking at marriage because maybe they've been scoring a hurt. They maybe come out of a rough relationship, so you got to give them time to get through that. And if you find a woman that's going to willing to rock with you on your team, don't play games with her. If her intentions is marriage, make that your intentions. And if you know that's not your intentions, let her be blessed by someone else. Don't hang out. Don't play games and keep her stringing along. That's not cool. That doesn't make you a man. That's not cool. I'm just gonna say that it's just not cool. So in 2016, I got divorced. Uh, I was in the mindset of I'm not ever getting married again. I'll be a lifetime boyfriend. Yeah, that's the route because I was hurt. Now I couldn't really be too mad because I the one made the bad decision. I made a bad decision about cheating on my ex-wife. So her divorcing me, she had every right and every intention because I made a piss poor selfish decision that cost me. I made a selfish decision to do what I did, and it cost me. So for me to go to divorce, I deserved it. I deserve all of that. No excuses. I won't make any because of decisions I made, the selfish decisions I made, and I got to be accountable for that. It hurt me because I hurt my family. I had to break the news to my son why me and his mother's getting divorced. That's one of the toughest messages I had to relay. Now I know y'all heard me say it before, but this is my truth, so I got to admit it. I'm talking about a show about marriage, so I need to tell it what I went through, the reason why I'm even in this position now. So that's my reason why, because of self decision. So guys, I don't care how hard it is, how tough it is. If you feel like you need to make that move, don't make that move. You take a moment, step back, because them 20 minutes, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, it's not worth it. So definitely do not do it. Do what you got to do to make your relationship and your marriage work. Do whatever you have to do. So, but now in 2020, again, I went through a couple years of therapy to get my mind right, to get myself in a place where I would even think about getting married again. And now I'm at that place. I've been at that place for a couple years now. Like, okay, I do believe in love, and I believe it can happen for me, and I believe it will. Just have to find the right one. I have to learn from my past and make sure I don't repeat it. They say you don't learn, now you do to repeat it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the next woman like that. I don't want to do the next Mrs. Hink like that. She deserves better, and I'm going to give her better. Now, it was a tough, costly lesson, an emotional, hurtful lesson I had to take because of my bad decisions. But I've learned. And now I'm moving in a different direction. Now I'm moving differently. I'm acting, I'm talking differently. I'm coming at the individual I'm dating differently because of my life lessons I had to learn. Thank goodness for that. You know, yeah. Again, I don't think nobody should have to go through situations like that in order to learn a lesson. Hopefully you can learn about somebody else's mistakes. So if y'all out there, hopefully you learn from my mistakes. But if you have to go down a hard road, I feel for you. And I understand what you're going through. Because I did it. But I know you guys, I know y'all won't do it because y'all greater than me. And thank God y'all are more smarter, more wise, and more mature than I was when I did what I did. And I appreciate that. But now we're talking about coming together instead of being apart, right? So let's move from that. Let's talk about marriage. So to me, in 2023, is marriage tough? Yes, it is. But I know it's something that can be accomplished that we should be able to accomplish. The reason why, man, because it's out there for us to do, man. We just need to make sure we move smarter. Is it going to be harder to do with certain things? What's going on? Yes, it is. But I say, if it's supposed to be that easy, anybody could do it. I want to get back into that fraternity/sorority that I miss out on. I want to have that companion that I can grow old and retire with, that I can take care of and enjoy good times as well as bad times. So when I'm sick and I'm down and out, I know I can look over this woman's going to be right there for me. Or when she gets sick and down and out, she could look over and she could be right there for me. One of the main reasons I'm doing the show today because of a young man that we had on King Talk one time, and he was so jaded by marriage and never been that, man, and it's scary. It's scary, man. And to hear him feel that way, and he's never even experienced nothing like that. That's rough. That's rough. So, with that being said, I felt like the shows was necessary. So I got some married people that I'm about to bring up here, man. Some good people, some people who I actually had conversations with, man, in the back, who I was on the show, and they always promote for her a marriage. And it got a couple that never really had a conversation with the missus, but I had with the mister. And what I hear and here's conversation, like this dude's ground, he's solid. I said, I definitely got to have him on my show for marriage. So let me bring these beautiful people up. What's going on, brother? Mrs. Harris? Brother Trev?
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
How you doing, brother?
What's
Thanks for
happening?
having us.
Hi.
Yes. And brother Trigger Mike. What's going on, big brother?
Salute. Sorry for being off cam for a second. My son out here running him up, waiting for his mom to get home.
I mean, it happens. But I got two of y'all guys are new to the show, so I got to ask you a question. Now, Trail, is your missus close by? Is Amanda close by?
Oh yeah, she's right
I'm
here.
right here.
She's
Okay.
right here.
next to me. She just
Cool.
not
I
on
got
cam,
you.
but she's right here the whole time. She got her own mic and everything. So whatever you want to ask, it's all
you ain't got to
good.
explain yourself, brother. You ain't got to explain yourself. So what I like to do for any individual who's their first time here, right? I like to ask them the question: what is your guilty pleasure songs? What are some songs you like to listen to, but you be lightweight embarrassed if your friends, your family knew you was listening to, but hey, as soon as you hear it on the radio, you might turn that bad boy up, you rock out to it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man.
Trev, Mr. Amanda, what is? I'm gonna let you guys go first, and then Mike, when you get yourself together, you can follow up right after them. Okay?
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I don't have a song, I don't think.
Oh, listen, I'm going to tell you. A lot of people don't know, but one of the first things I've ever done in the entertainment industry was DJing. So my range is crazy. I will listen to classical music. I'll be bumping Bach for no reason. I will listen to country music sometimes. I'll listen to Toby Keith. I'll listen to I listen to alternative rock. I know about Hoobastank, Three Doors Down. Listen, Creed. I could do all types of things, man. Like I'm everywhere with it. You will never know what's gonna come up in my playlist. From you got calypso, you got reggae, dance, might be metal. Anything, man. I am all over the place. So
you don't have
I mean,
song that
say
you
again.
It's any particular song, just different genres. You just have all type of genres.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the
got
place.
you.
Like Little Kim. I like Little Kim, the whole hardcore album.
Okay, sis.
Yes.
Let's go.
What you got, Mr.
That's hardcore. Damn. That album got me in trouble. The cover got me in trouble.
I know what's right.
You know what? I'm on the same as far as versatility in music and what I like. I'm on the same stuff that Trev is on. So in college, I dabbled in DJing, but I was a party promoter.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
I took an internship with Def Jam and Atlantic Records and got to meet a lot of their new up and coming artists and stuff, and a lot of people. And I took a big liking to the group Crime Mob. Y'all remember them?
Oh yes, I do.
I had all of their mixtapes, all of their albums. Until this day, if you came into my house, me and and it's just me because I can't listen to it around my kids, right? It's no point listening to their albums, clean version. No point.
Nah,
But
you can't do that.
there are a few songs. I think one is Crunk Incorporated, and the other one is called "I'll Beat Your Ass." Those are my hype anthems, bro. Those are my hype anthems for life.
Okay. I never heard that group, but hey, yeah.
I'm gonna send you the links. You're gonna hear about it today.
Yeah, let me check them out on YouTube, see what they about. Well, look what's going on. We got Sweeney and his lovely missus in the house. How y'all doing this evening?
All right, we're good. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. I'm
Hey, everybody.
Yes. Sweeney, you took an L last night. Looked like you started off bad, taking more L's. Oh, come on, man. Oh, Lord. Sweeney.
I gotta go check on my mashed potatoes. Hold on.
I got to check on your mashed potatoes. But Mrs. Sweetie, how would you like us to address you? I'm sorry.
You can just call me Gracie.
Okay, Grace, how you doing?
Good.
This is your first time in the basement, so I got to ask you the question too. Sweeney, I'm asking Sweeney the question. Hopefully, he can hear me. I don't know if he can, but what is your guilty pleasure song? What is that song you like to go to? Would you be embarrassed if somebody heard you listen, but you rock it out as soon as you hear it on the radio? You turn that bad boy up.
For me, it'll be anything Paramore. I'm a Paramore fan.
Now who's Paramore? I don't know.
Oh, it's a rock band.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not hip to them. I'm not hip.
So you don't even know who Crime Mob is. So what did I miss? What's your guilty pleasure is?
My song? No,
Yeah.
Commodores. He about to say the
That is Trigger Mike.
Commodores.
I can't let you put that on me. That's Trigger Mike shit.
No, you said you didn't know who they was.
Nah,
so I'm trying to
we
figure out what kind of music do you actually
Nah,
listen
we
to?
definitely
then?
from the same generation.
Okay.
That's all it is. Hank, you a Gen X or a Boomer or some shit. I don't know.
Come on, man. I'm full
Paramore was
man. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Look here. My guilty pleasure song.
I said a
I
boy.
don't know if y'all remember, but y'all remember New Kids on the Block.
So, yeah,
Oh
Told
yeah,
you.
of course. I used to listen to
Okay.
that. And sync all that.
What song?
Mike, Please Don't Go Girl.
Oh.
Don't ask me to sing it.
Was he doing the dances?
No, hell no.
Was
Hey, you know that single side to side. That's the move I did.
Oh,
Side to
my
side,
God.
You can't side to
With
side
the
of New Kids
two-step.
on the Block.
You got the little two-step.
You asking me to do more than that, you asking too much. I'm like, okay, now big man can't do that much. I could get a good side to side for you. That's
Oh,
about it.
Lord.
But that is my guilty pleasure song. That and some any Hall and Oates. That
Damn.
will
Mm.
damn. I mean,
Do we all secretly love white people or something? I've heard Paramore.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Somebody gonna break out Garth Brooks in a second.
hey, I do like Chris Singleton. He is from Kentucky, so I rock him out. So I'm not gonna lie. Yes,
I knew it though. I knew it, Hank. See, I knew it though. I knew behind closed doors, we really get down with some country music and alternative music and
Hey.
rock music.
No
I've
shame.
been calling this out since high school, and my boys acted like they were too cool. I was never too cool to play all that stuff in my car. NSYNC would come on, I'd be in the car like bye, 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 bye.
Hey, look, and the reason I some of that music I listen to, because when MTV first came out, they went our music on there. Well, I was enamored by watching music videos on television, so I would hear like Hall and Oates, Man Eater, or what's that? Damn, there used to be a video. Like Take Me On. I don't know if I'm sounding
I know what
bad.
you're talking about.
But it was like a color. It was like sketchy.
That was in the 80s, and they had like the cartoon. Like, yeah. I know exactly what you was talking about. Yeah.
I started singing that song all the time because I see the video all the time. So, and that's the reason why I got turned on to the soft rock. And I play sports, and in the locker room, whoever got to the radio first got to control the radio. So most times, my white teammates was always there first because we there late.
Oh,
and then
Lord.
you go to the radio.
Oh,
So
man.
they got the heads up. We tried to take it over, but they told Coach said, no, they got here first. They play what they want. So we had to listen to their music. So I'm like I said, he said, Nirvana, I heard that. Guns N' Roses, I'm hip to that. You know what I'm saying? Bon Jovi, I'm Kiss. I'm a fan of Kiss. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's that. But look, we gonna keep going down this musical lane. We won't
You know about that Detroit? What you know about that Detroit Rock City though?
Nothing.
What? That's a Kiss song, man.
Yeah, I don't know that song.
Damn, got like one of the greatest guitar solos of all time. Damn.
ZZ Top. Yikes. I rocked out to ZZ Top.
Boomer. Told y'all. He might be a boomer. He might be lying about his age. That's beard dye.
Hey, I'm 48, man. I lied to you that I'm not gonna front. These grays tell it. These grays tell it. What happened to Swing? He get lost?
I don't know what's taking him so long.
He burned the mashed potatoes.
Oh, man. He might be in our sample. Does he make some gravy with it? At least put some gravy with the potato. Don't say he didn't make no gravy.
No, we doing some roast. So
Okay, I got you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It sounds like a hell of a meal right there, but that's a beautiful thing. But look, I'm gonna come with the softball question first thing first. What was your first date for you and your spouse went on? What was your first date that you and your spouse went? Uh-oh.
I know it. I'm gonna let everybody else go so I can let this fool come back.
Yeah, we're gonna let him go. Mike, you want to go first, brother?
Yeah, I'll go first. We went on a nice afternoon date. I really liked that. And it was she was a student at Hampton University, and she had came into my dad's club of all places looking for a waitressing job. I don't know if y'all know, but my dad used to own strip clubs, him and my uncle. So I was like, lady, the waitresses have been working here for like 7-8 years. They ain't going nowhere. We don't have any jobs. But I was also the manager at Allen Iverson's mother's club. So I said, why don't you come over there? I'll be there by 6 p.m. I'll get you a waitressing job there. And for some reason, I don't know if we've been taught this whole damsel in distress thing. You should have just seen her like this pretty ass little struggling college student. They struggling when they put their hair behind, when they count money, put their hair behind their ear about 3 times. Woo, I was like, damn. So I just kind of was like, and one of the cooks saw me looking at it, was like, look, he said it like nothing. I'm not joking. That's your wife right there, boy. He said, that's your wife right there, boy. That's a hardworking girl, good looking too. And I just, I just went for it. Like, yo, you trying to go out, do it. She kind of took a good look at me for the first time. I was like, yeah. We can go out tomorrow. So the next afternoon, I took her to PF Chang's, which was pretty good considering, 20, what? I was like 23. Didn't have that much cash. She wore this nice little dress that made her look like the Cat in the Hat, though. I ain't gonna lie. Had nice little red pumps, red lipstick. But yeah, man, the rest is history. That was a nice little date. And I don't know, something about me that I really should tell people. I know it's not like that now, but back then I used to actually love conversation. So most of the women I've always been involved with, it's never been high and by type of thing, one night stand. Most of the women that I've been involved with, I know very well. So I always take that first date very seriously. I ask questions that are very deep about your family and all that type of stuff. So I think I've always given off that boyfriend vibe, like, oh, this dude's serious, like, like that. So yeah, that was it. It was a cool date. Took her back to the crib. Nothing crazy happened. So
I'm glad to hear that, brother. I mean, so you didn't take it no farther than that.
Nah.
Harrison fam, what say you?
Say you. Oh man, the first date, the actual date. Movies. What do we see? American Werewolf. Yeah, it's pretty much
Great movie.
it.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty simple. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a movie, and maybe something to eat after. Nothing too upscale, and we just focused on conversation. Sapiosexual shit. How much do you know? How much do you want to know? What are you willing to do? We met in the club. You know what I mean? Like New Year's Eve night, Mrs. Harris walks up to me and tells me my boots are untied. And my reply was, I don't know how to tie them. And her reply was, I'll help you. And again, this is all I need to see. I'm just meeting this woman and she's willing to help me. She don't know me from a can of paint. And I believe, I had a piece of gum and she was willing to take the gum from the tip of my teeth. Mm-hmm. So it was just an infatuation. It was just, no one's ever in the female aspect approached me. I've always been selected by coaches. And, I hang my hat on this all the time, Hank, that I've always been selected by coaches. I've always been recruited. So when somebody sees something in me that I don't even see in myself, the only thing I can do is show them they made a good choice. So by her walking up to me and choosing me out of all of those men that, she had to choose from, I just need to show her that she made a good choice in me. And that came with conversation, getting to know each other and just, wanting the same things out of family, out of a spouse. And, 18 years later, here we go.
Beautiful thing, big brother. Beautiful thing. So did you really not know how to tie your boots? I was just a reason just to get that conversation going.
Absolutely did know. Just, well, are you willing to help? I don't know. Teach me. Show me.
I was kind of stuck on that part too. Like, was that a line or what? Like,
yeah. I think that's what it was. Hey, it worked. He's blessed right now.
That's all that matters.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Brother Trev, Miss Amanda.
All right.
Hey.
So I'm gonna pass this one to Amanda because she explains it so much better than I do.
Whatever, Trevor.
Did you forget?
Okay.
No. I remember. We actually we just talked about it. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago. So I ain't forget it, but she just like.
I'm just more detailed than he
I like
is.
the way she talks about it.
Okay.
I know that's right.
So we used to work together. Okay. And he asked me, like, we used to flirt around with each other or whatever. I liked him first. He didn't like me. I liked him first. He used to ignore me. But then after a while, he started paying me attention. And so one day he asked me if I wanted to ride home. I said, yeah. So he gave me a ride home. He was just like, you know what? Are you hungry? I said, yeah. He said, you want to go and stop and get something to eat? I said, okay. Like we sat down. I remember what we had. He had pepperoni pizza and Sprite because that's like his favorite drink. And I had fruit punch and I had sausage pizza and a slice of cheese pizza. And we had like the best conversation. It was like an impromptu date, but it was like the best conversation. And ever since then, we was just like kind of like together since then, like talking on the phone, hanging out, everything.
Now, what I want a lot of people, particularly younger people, right, to understand about that, you see how it was not, nothing crazy. It wasn't Charter House. It wasn't, nothing crazy, just regular. We didn't need all of the distractions, spending a bunch of money. We were both youngsters at the time anyway, so we didn't have bread like that, but it didn't take that. We didn't have to do a bunch of things. If you enjoy each other's company, that's your foundation. All of those distractions, you sitting there, you looking at the waiter, you like, oh, look at this, your plate coming out sizzling, and just everything else, the ambiance, the music, everything is like a distraction. How are you really gonna understand if you like each other if you have all these different distractions that are gonna put you in a good mood? You don't know if you really like that person. Sometimes you just need a quiet date just to kind of learn about each other and see what your conversation is like. And that's why I said, you know what? I could rock with this. Go ahead.
Why did it take so long, Trey, for you to notice this woman? She seemed like she's a beautiful person. Did you have to get your
No,
ducks
you know
in a row?
what?
Is that what it was?
Bro,
Just
I
keep it real.
thought, look,
You had to get
I
your
was very
ducks in a
young
row.
at the time. You got to understand what was going on at the time. You got to understand what was going
Look,
on
don't
at
let me
the
get you in
time.
trouble. You ain't
You know
gotta
what I mean?
answer. You ain't gotta
Look,
answer.
I had just got there too now. And
Okay.
you know how it go. You just get to in the workplace. I'm like, that I wasn't even it. I was just, and I didn't even think she was serious. I thought she was just playing around and flirting. So I was like, whatever. I know. But eventually I realized she was very serious.
She was persistent, man. She said,
Yeah.
that's my man right there. That's my man. I know it. But like Sister Harris said, she knew it before he knew it. She knew it before you knew it. So she knew you was that guy. So like she had to make her move. Ladies out there, please don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Do not be afraid to shoot your shot. I know it's a taboo for some of y'all, but that's okay. Shoot your shot. Do what you got to do to get that man. Sweeney decided to come back and hang out with us instead of playing with the mashed potatoes.
He burned him.
No, the mashed potatoes fire. I don't know what y'all talking
I
about.
know that's right.
I got 10 on. He burned them.
Shit, this is the first time I done made them in damn near like 8 years.
Now, hold on. You didn't make no box potatoes, did you?
No, this is the first time I made homemade mashed potatoes in like 8 years.
Okay. I was going to ask y'all. Don't talk that
Hey,
box.
don't sleep on the bag potatoes. Now.
Oh, bag potato be hitting.
Them
That's what I'm
HB bag potato. Hey, bro, add water.
The red potatoes joints.
Change your life. Don't sleep.
Man. So, Sweetie, you got a couple questions you got to ask. One, we want to know, what was your first date? But first, while you think about it, I'm going to let your wife answer that question. I'm going to let you think about your guilty pleasure song.
What the hell is a guilty pleasure zone?
You said what?
I said, what the hell is a guilty pleasure zone?
Song.
Oh.
Song. That's just my Negro dialect. I'm sorry, the country accent I have. Song. Yeah, guilty pleasure song. So that song you like to listen to, but you would be embarrassed if your friends or your family knew you listened to it, but yet you heard it on the radio, you crank it up, you rock it out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell. I got a bunch of those.
Oh, okay.
To answer the
Listen,
question.
Bennett, welcome.
Hello. Our first date was to Six Flags on a ticket that his parents purchased for us.
Okay.
So we do Six Flags start to finish. They open at 9. We didn't leave to 9, and we ate sandwiches in the parking lot.
I'll say it's simple.
Simple.
And we've been riding roller coasters ever since.
There you are. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So Sweeney, what's your guilty pleasure song, bro?
Damn.
I gave you time, man. You had time, brother.
My bad. I was thinking about the answer. Shit. Something in My Heart by Miss Chalet. Let's see what else. What's the name of that song by Beyonce? She be like,
Party.
Is it count? Huh?
Love on Top or Radio?
No, radio was freshman year. Love on Top is another one. Emotional Roller Coaster.
We're gonna get Sweetie's whole playlist. ain't
Right.
I'm
That's good.
visualizing.
That's good. That's good.
You gonna have to explain that love on top. I don't know.
we? No, that's right.
The reason why Love on Top is one of my guilty pleasure songs is because I swear up and down, you can damn near hear the excitement in Beyonce's voice when she sung it. Like you can tell she was actually jamming in the studio. That was probably one of the few times I ever heard her sound like that.
Hmm.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we want to welcome the Bennett family and this lady died. What's going on? Is James with you? He's out there saving the world.
He'll be on like a little later, but
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Hi
That's
everyone.
Hey, hey.
That's cool. Well, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. And lady, that's your first time on the show, man.
In a while, yeah. It's been
It's been a minute.
long time.
But we like to welcome you. And Mrs. Bennett, I gotta ask you since your first time in the basement. Mr. Paul already gave me his. I got his a while ago, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you. So what is your guilty pleasure songs? What is some songs you like to listen to?
Too many to mention.
I was going to say, I have no guilty pleasure. In all honesty, my taste in music is like all over the place.
Okay.
I went to an all-girls Catholic school, and 95% of the students were white. So I always laugh because I see my inner white girls coming out because anything, gosh, I'm just all over the place. It's just stuff that, what is it, Walking on Sunshine, and
She went to a Barry Manilow concert.
loved it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Barry Manilow, I'm serious. You know, I write the songs. I'm all over the place, but I have no guilty pleasure because I am who I am, and you know,
I know where. Talk your stuff. Talk your stuff, man. Talk your stuff. Let me do these couple super chats, but in the meantime, sister and my brother Bennett, I want y'all to think about your first date. I want y'all to let us know about your first date. But let me go through these super chats real fast. My man Ricardo saying big heat for the Cadillac fund. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I appreciate that. For y'all who don't know, I'm looking forward to getting another old school, and it might be a Cadillac, convertible style. That's what I'm looking for. So that he's sending a little money for the Cadillac fund. I appreciate it, brother. John the Baptist with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. So if y'all can, tell us about your first date, brother Bennett.
Well, you want the Cliff's Notes version of it, or you want the extended one out? It's pretty wild how we got together. But the short version is we went to IHOP for our first date. Then we just went back to the crib and talked, and all that good stuff. That's the short version. The extended version, I don't know how much time you got. That goes a while.
I don't see there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And the beautiful thing about it, listen to everybody's individual stories and all of that. Sound like it was just a simple date. Nothing extravagant, nothing real expensive. It was something simple. Like you said, y'all was able to give yourself the opportunity to really engage and really get to know who your spouse is. And to me, that's the most important thing. That is the most important. Lady Di, are you there? I didn't know if you was there or not.
I'm sorry. One of my kids came with the full diaper.
Oh, okay. Do you need time to go handle that?
I did. I'm good now.
Okay. So where was you and James' first date at?
It was outside at the beach in California. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So again, another simple date. Like I said, the opportunity to get to know your spouse, to talk to them, really engage, really find out who they are, get to know them, who they are, and that's a beautiful thing. Again, that we hear now where I heard somebody on TikTok talking about she needed a $300 date. I said, "Ooh, that's crazy." A first date, $300. You need that. That's what you need. That's what you're going to need to take a man seriously. Why would you need to do that? I don't understand, but so maybe that's just some people roll. I don't get it. That makes no sense to me. But I don't get it. Now, some people may say, "Oh, well, being cheap or something." It's not about being cheap. It's just not. I think it's an overkill on a first date. Because again, you don't know if there's going to ever be a second date, so you expense yourself out that much on a first date, and you may not even like this woman. This woman may not even like you, and you invest that for that first date. Yeah, that makes no sense. So I'm the one. I'll tell you right now. I go to coffee. I'll take it to Starbucks or a coffee shop and get a name. They say, "Well, they don't like coffee." Well, man, they got more than just coffee at Starbucks. In case you didn't know that.
They got smoothies too.
Yeah, the smoothies.
Tea.
Hot
Little
tea,
sandwiches.
yeah.
Lemonade.
They got all type of things. That's like you drink coffee. You get your pastry. You know what I'm saying? A cookie, whatever your choice is.
A sandwich.
Exactly. But the whole reason why is because we could be at a place where there's not a lot of traffic. We're not being interrupted by ordering food, waiting on a meal, complaining about it. It's not right, or this is not what I ordered. None of that. We're able to engage, really talk and have conversation. And that's what I need to know, and that's what I need to have to really get to know you as an individual. I don't want you to have all these distractions. You eating your food, or you taking pictures of your food. We don't need those distractions. Now, I don't know too many people taking a picture of coffee or tea or anything like that, but it's possible they may want to do it still. But it gives me the opportunity to really engage you. It really gives me the opportunity to have good, wholesome conversation. And like I said, I say I'm interrogate you. By the third date, I want to know your credit score. That's my plan. That's what I do. Now, my lady is sitting there tell you, what I need to know. I need to know what I'm about to invest in. We both agree marriage is what we want, so I need to know what I'm about to get into. And so I'm gonna let you know everything. You gotta let me know everything, and then we're gonna go from there. If we want to rock out together, cool. If not, then we go our separate ways. But fortunately, she's still around for some reason. I don't know why she's still hanging around. But I'm still trying to figure out. Maybe it's out of sympathy. I don't know, but maybe she has sympathy for Hank. I don't know what the reason is, but I just wanted to, kind of break the ice with that question. So now it's gonna get a little harder, guys. I hope y'all can answer this. And Mr. Bennett knows this question I have right here was kind of incited by a thing I had on Black Men Unfiltered show, and somebody couldn't tell, what was it about their spouse that made them pick them. So what was it about? What was it about James, Lady Di? What was it about James that said, "Hey, he's that guy"? Yeah, I got to keep my eye. I got to keep my eye on and make him mine. What was it about? Brother, you get nervous?
So
need my mom to get yourself together.
What made me pick him is that he was we was already seriously dating, but he was like already trying to provide for me, like kind of right away. Because of I guess what I was doing for him. I have a stepson and everything, so I was there helping out. So with him being like a provider type already, I was like, oh wow, so you care a lot to do that. Like I don't think people would just try to take care of somebody if they didn't like them that much. So it just made me know that he was serious about me, and I like that. He was trying to take care of his business and not play around, because sometimes you date or you'll be in a relationship with someone and they'll just waste your time because they're not even trying to, pursue anything serious anyway. But he wasn't like that. And I appreciate him for, being himself, fully being himself, because it took me a little while to be myself, but he was fully being himself. And that's what made me be like, oh yeah, you're the one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Sweeney family. What was it?
Are you mute?
No, we ain't.
Oh. Well, for me, so we had already knew each other for at least 2 years before we had decided to even get together. And what made me really choose him was because he was very persistent. He showed me that he liked me, and I'm like, okay, well, let's give it a try. I was 18. I had already had it. I had a 1-year-old at the time, so it was like I was already all over the place, and he still was showing me that he was interested. So I went ahead and went with it.
Fred?
You said what?
Fred? Did you want to answer too? I'm sorry. Sweeney, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Really don't want to answer it.
We gonna hold it against you, bro. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Sweeney.
Come on, Sweeney. Yeah, I know you got it. Come on now.
What? Why her?
Yeah.
Answer the question. What does that mean here?
Well, you about to take another hair, I see.
You must not be the romantic type, Sweeney.
No, he's the romantic one of us too.
Okay, well,
That's why I'm trying to figure out what he's doing. Why you take so long to answer the question?
Well, I didn't know I had to answer the question. That's the reason why I'm thrown off guard. You know what I mean? He asked the first lady, then you know what I mean. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking it was just a question for the ladies.
Oh
you know?
my goodness!
But well, sure, we already talked about this. I told y'all about this. One of the things that made me rock with it was that, like I said, I played football in high school, and you know, I wasn't like the popular ball player, nothing like that. And you know what I mean? So, like when like homecoming came around, everybody, you know how the cheerleaders and shit decorated everybody's lockers and stuff. So you know they decorated like all the popular ball players, and she actually was the one that came and decorated my locker. So I, you know what I mean? So, oh shit, appreciate that. And from there it was just, you know,
He decided he liked me.
So that's all it took. She decorated your locker. You was that. It was.
Yeah,
put you on.
Put me on right there.
Oh man, Trick Mike, you there? Okay, he not there. Okay, Trev, what about you and Miss Amanda? What we got?
Want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can go first. I went first.
All right, cool. All right, so I would first thing that I would say is she has a very nurturing spirit, right? So that right there, as a man, you know, us as men certainly appreciate that. I'm gonna tell you the thing that really did it. We had a lot of things in common, right? As far as what we like to do for fun, and most importantly, our values lined up, right? As far as finances, as far as morally, as far as what we felt about having children, all of that. So everything really, really lined up. So I figured, hey, you know what? We have a good chance. And I feel like it was very important to communicate those types of things early, right? And we did. And they lined up. So I figured, you know what? We're probably going to last a while because we both wanted to move in the same direction, right? And I feel like that's the main part. Now, of course, there's going to be some bumps in the road, and there's going to be certain things to consider because sometimes we change, right? And that part is actually very hard because you know your 20-year-old self is not your 30-year-old self, which is not your 40-year-old self. And, you know, we were able to get through all of those changes. Difficult, very difficult, because you know how it goes. Every 5 years, you evolve, and a lot of things that you used to appreciate, you don't. A lot of things you used to love to do, and you don't. And, you know, we made the adjustments. So we were able to make those adjustments. And I see, all right, you know what? All right, I guess we have enough love for each other to make the adjustments. We could go ahead and do it.
Good stuff.
Go ahead. You want to go? You ain't got nothing?
No,
okay.
You didn't give me a chance to say
Oh,
nothing.
go ahead.
No, she won't go ahead and
I
go.
liked him because he I liked him because he was thoughtful, and He's kind, and he's a good dad to our kids. And he's still nice to me, and he's sweet.
That's good. I'm glad you're still nice to Trey. That's a beautiful thing. Mr. Bennett, I know you got lost with the camera. You back? So what about you? What was about Mr. Paul that just won you over about this guy?
I would probably say he was probably more mature than most of the guys that I had dated in the past, seriously. And he knew what he wanted. He and I both knew right from the jump that we both wanted to get married. We weren't playing around. And, a guy who knows what he wants, that's attractive. So, really wasn't a lot of, it really was not a lot of questions. Because he wanted what I wanted, and, that was it. Yeah.
What about you, brother?
She fit most of the criteria. So, like I said, I didn't want to go into I'm not going to long stroke. I'm going to keep this as terse as possible. But when I decided I wanted to get married, someone gave me advice that I should write down what I wanted. And so it started as a list. And then it went from a list to every time I put something on the list, I had to explain it. So then I made it a document. It became this 4-page essay, essentially, on what I was looking for in a wife. And this is like in the early days before internet really got on. So I would just give it out to people. I would just, hand out, had copies in the car. I would just give it out to people. And basically I gave it to her. And she said, you know what, I can rock with most of this. And that's what started the conversation. But it was like, for most of the women I was seeing at the time, they were either going to like it or they weren't. But I was of a mindset. I was willing to go through 99 to get the one. So she's like, all right, we can, this is the basis for our conversation. And what it also did was it automatically, for anyone I dated, it automatically gave us something to talk about. And, so again, we talked about the values and what we thought was what a husband and wife were. And so she's like, oh, this is cool. So that's what led. And prior to our first date, you asked about earlier, we had talked probably for about 2 weeks prior to the date, like pretty much every night for 2 weeks straight before we even went on a date. So again, a lot of it was in the document, and a lot of it just about, just getting to know one another. So by the time the date came, we were really excited about it because, we knew a lot about, we thought we shared a lot of the same values and wanted the same things. So yeah, the dating was really the first opportunity, but we were already, very much in very detailed and very intense conversation prior to that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Sugar Mike, you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. So you want to know what made me pick her? Because I'll tell you why you picked me. I'm that arrogant. I'll tell you.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, we we won't know why he picked her. I'm sure you're gonna.
Yeah. So I picked her. I picked her because she was pleasant, man. I knew what I wanted. I think many men go through that phase where you're trying to create your own version of what love is and what excitement is, and through all the wrong avenues, you're trying to say that you can, but I can choose this person because for me, this is just spicy. That's just the way she is. And I'm going to love her that way. No, when I met my wife, she was pleasant. She was like me in so many ways. And all the characteristics of a wife that I knew when I sat down, like I believe Mr. Bennett said, and wrote things down, I would have wrote all of her characteristics, her values, her morals down. Because when I'm not excited, when I'm not using my, at that time, 20-something-year-old brain to think about the future and what I will want at 40, 50, and 60 years old, I would have wrote down those characteristics. She's caring. She's nurturing. She is extremely hardworking. She has a work ethic and a acumen for things that I want my children to have. She talks openly about marriage and about having children and what she would want to do and be for those children. That was the type of woman I'd always knew I was going to marry. So, I just really had to make a decision to say, I've already passed up a woman like this once in my life. I met her way too young, like 21. And I was like, I'm not ready to get married at that time. So I couldn't do it twice. But that's really what it was. She was just so pleasant. And coming from a 2-parent household myself, my entire family is married all the way on down the line. I know what, quote unquote, wife material is. So I didn't miss the window. And here we are.
Brother Black Man, you with us? Okay. Harrison tried.
What's wrong?
What's say?
I thought they was going in the
I
backyard.
thought so too, but
Harris Tribe. Man, besides his strappingly gorgeous looks that night in the club.
Oh, that's right. I know, that's right.
Good Lord. I was engulfed. Learning about him around his environment was splendid. So meeting his people and everybody that's my man. Anywhere we went, that's a cool dude. And, people foreseeing us being together forever, just like first meeting. The calm demeanor, the disciplined maturity that he had was canny for me. It was beautiful. So someone I can learn from. The articulation in his words was mind blowing sometimes. I appreciated his vast vocabulary. It made me eager to want to learn more. So a man like that, I felt I'm gonna do whatever it takes to try to get this man to hold me down. So, it was a blessing. I ain't even gonna lie. So we here 25 years later, and I'm glad I stumbled up on him in the club that night because it's not something I usually do. And I was called out for it, but look where we are now. So I think it was a great choice.
I appreciate that. And my answer isn't very different. Just the reflection that she provided gave me a window into the reflection she would be able to provide as a wife, just inspiring me to be better, to want more. Like she said, we both frequent each other's neighborhoods. So seeing she was kind of a mirror image of me, very respected in her neighborhood, very nurturing, taking care of her nephews and her nieces, and just, never called out her name. These things stood out. And just, like the brother said, the pleasantness, the sugar spice and everything nice, even when things ain't going her way. We're never hitting below the belt. We're never in this cantankerous mindset. And maybe it is the vocabulary, maybe it's just the nature, but it inspired her to want to be different. And again, just being on the same page of what we wanted as family, what we wanted from our spouse, the curses, the cycles we wanted to break. It just fell into place, like the brother said as well. And, appreciating this girl every day is the difference. Like I said, she didn't have to walk up to me. So I look at it in days. And, 18 years married, that's 6,570 days. And I think that's the difference from me and a lot of other people. You just think you're going to get to the years, but these years take one day at a time. So, I just appreciate her for choosing me. And, I just try to make it to as many days as reciprocating. And it all started from that first motion. Great question.
Man, good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Welcome, Brother James. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. How everybody
No,
doing?
you good, brother. We know you was out there saving the world, doing God's work. We understand. You got to do what you got to do.
Yes, sir.
But it's your first time base, but I got to ask you this question. But I want you to think about this question while I give my answer, because somebody in the chat wants to know what it was about my lady, the reason I picked her. But the question for you, Brother James, is where's your guilty pleasure songs? What are some songs you like to listen to, you rock out, but you'd be embarrassed if somebody know you listen to it? I want you to think about that. While you think about that, I'm going to get my answer, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the reason why I picked my spouse, and I highlight the question, we might as well go and bring it up. Dory wants to know the reason why I picked my spouse. What it was about her. Well, I don't know. I don't know why I picked her.
It be that way, man. Like,
no, I'm gonna stop because
You sound like easy money, man. Come on now.
man, look. I know if I wrote that as a boy, I'm gonna get a text message. I'm gonna be cussed out later. No, but the reason why I picked her, truth be told, man, when I first met her, it was back in '94, Murray State University, Winslow Hall cafeteria. It was in the cafeteria. I was in there getting some breakfast, and she was with her roommate. And I seen her, she was tall, long hair, no makeup on, just in her natural state, natural form. And I just seen her, and she's like, man, she's pretty, man. I mean, go shoot my shot. So I went over, I shot my shot, and talked to her and had a good conversation with her, and just to find out how good of a heart she has. You know what I'm saying? She was nice. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't like the other ladies on campus that I've had conversation with. She was giving. She was willing to listen, and we just sit there and just talk. Never did anything. Never had sex or nothing like that. But we was able just to talk and to interact, and she had a good heart. So like Mike, what you said, she was your wife was pleasant. Same thing. She was pleasant. Another thing that really got me was her respect and love she had for her father. So with that being said, that means she has love, respect. She knows how to act and carry herself around a man and treat a man because of the love and admiration she had for her father. How highly she spoke of him. So that was another thing about her that really, and then as I got to know her more and more, just how she's a good mother for kids. That really helped too, because I had kids myself, and I have a granddaughter, and the sacrifices she was willing to make, certain things she would do for me, even when she didn't always have it, she was still willing to sacrifice for me. So yeah, that's what really won me over with her. So there go my answer. I'm sure she'll like that answer. Sure she'll appreciate that answer. So you're welcome, ma'am. Brother James, you ready to get me off this hot seat? Get me off this hot seat, brother. Help me out.
Yeah, man. I was trying to think of the song. It was a Babyface song, man. It was What If.
Shit. Go sing it one time.
Nah,
Get some brownie points.
I can't do that.
I cannot.
Snap. No, but going with my wife, right? I think one of the major things that made her different than all the other women is she was willing to listen. So I'm the type of man, like if you just gotta like listen to me, right? If you just give me a chance, you'll be able to see things and be able to, sorry, that's my kids, y'all. But you'll be able to I'm gonna feel like I'll be able to explain things to you so you can understand my point better. So if you're willing to listen and walk that mile with me, right? At the end of that mile, you'll understand what I'm trying to get you to. You might not, I might say it 1,000 times, right? But you might not understand it all the way at that time. But if somebody else says, I plant the seed, but somebody else says, it might bring better understanding to you, right? So I remember, like, in our relationship, I would say things years ago, and then she'll like hear it online. She's like, oh, that's what you was talking about. And then, but it was like, but she was listening though. So that was respectful, like, to me, that, at least she heard what I was saying. She didn't really get it at that period of time, but some of the things it took her, and that's with me too as well. Some things she might say that it might take me a little while to see what she's trying to move. So honestly, I think that's where a lot of relationships lack, just that will to listen, because everybody want to be right rather than just, and let me hear you out right quick. Okay, your idea might be better. And then if you do go with that idea, if the idea fails, they want to just bash you. Oh, I knew I should have went with what I want to say, rather than just like, oh, okay, it didn't work out. I'm saying? Let's try this way the next time. You know what I mean? So that's why I appreciate it a lot. So that's when I seen that, I noticed she was different. And then she didn't have all that attitude and all that. She was a little feisty and all this, and then, she's the type that used to get angry when she was hungry. right? So
Hey, I can relate, Lady Di. I can relate. I ain't gonna lie.
So I was like, I'll be confused.
got
I'm
hanger.
like, yeah, you know, I was like, why you so like it's not that big of a deal? And then like we, you know what I mean? So we had to work through those little small little stuff, whatever, right? But you know what I mean, we've been here 10 years later, so we've been, you know what I mean, knocking these years out, man. So
I know that's right. It's a beautiful thing. Congratulations to you guys. Black man, where you at? You here with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what was about your spicy, your spice, your spouse? I'm
Spicy.
sorry.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You right. You stay with it. Stay with it, Doc.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, you know, when you guys came down and met her or whatever, so y'all know what kind of man, my baby. Who, Lord have mercy. Well, where am I gonna start tonight? I think I was in a real a place of recovery when I met her, because I had gone through a relationship prior to meeting her or whatever. And it happened because it was a blowout on the side of the road. I'll never forget. It was on 165 headed north, and I saw him on the side of the road. And you know, we gentlemen, me, my brother, and I, and we stopped over to help him out. She was sitting there, had this little stripy shirt on. I said, "Boy, who is that right there?" I said, "That's her real hair too." Oh, wait, you know. And so for a while, I didn't say nothing, right? So I asked the young lady that was with her. I said, "Oh, who is that?" She saw she with somebody. I was like, "Damn." So a few weeks later, I asked the young lady again, because I knew the young lady from a church that we used to go to. And she was like, I don't know. I'll talk to her. I said, give me the number. I'll call her. And we ended up not talking for a while. And then one day I got a text message. She's watching y'all. She in the chat. She's out with the kiddos right now. But anyway, I got a text message, and it said, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And she played with me for about an hour. I was like, and I got to a point, I said, "Listen, if you're not going to tell me who you are, just don't text me no more." And she was like, "All right, it's me." And so we talked. I told her about everything that was going on with me. I was very able to be transparent without fear of anything, and vice versa. She was able to be transparent with me. And what made me choose her, man, it was just her organization. She's organized. She's about saving. She's not about blowing your money. She's not about money, period. She's not materialistic. Any of those things, you know, she's all about, hey, listen, you know, we need to save this, right? We need to plan for this. She's a great organizer, great with money, great with the kids. And man, you just can't pass up a woman that encourages you and motivates you like that, man. Even when I do long hours, even doing this YouTube thing, you know, I sat her down and say, listen, I'm gonna start this YouTube thing and I'm gonna make a deal with you. Right? I said, you're sacrificing something by being with the kids, the hours that I'm on. If I can't get to a certain amount of subscribers or have any type of success with this thing within this period of time, then I'll leave it alone. Right? And she supported ever since, man. I mean, even, you know, during Christmas, man, soundboards and all type of stuff for Christmas, and supporting the fact that I wanted to do this. So she's amazing, man. I mean, I can keep going. I don't want a long stroke, like Brother Bennett said, but she's amazing, man. I love her to death, and I know she's watching right now. So I hope I made you proud, Sugar.
Well, we know we us men, we gonna settle for the brownie points. We trying to get it to settle for later.
Absolutely.
And nothing wrong with that. You know, as y'all married men, y'all know there's gonna be some ups and downs. There's gonna be some good days and some bad days, and there's nothing wrong with building up some equity. And this is what I'm getting y'all men to do right now. So I appreciate y'all answers, but it's going to be a little more difficult. So the next question is, how did your parents feel about your spouse the first time they met? Who wants to go first?
I mean,
who wants to tackle this question?
Really?
I like this. It's squirming now.
Yeah, no, it didn't matter. I know
that's right.
And it didn't matter what they thought. I'm just gonna say that up front. My father was like, I like him, which meant I wasn't a daddy's girl, you know. So we were kind of friends meeting at the time. My father expressed how much he, you know, liked him. My mother thought he was cool, you know, but she was going through her own stuff. She thought he was cool, but now she adores him as well. So everybody liked him.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't raised by my parents, unfortunately, but my grandmother, auntie, in my neighborhood, and they loved her, and not to say loved her like she was a go along to get along, but just her toughness, her willing to stand on her ground. If you had something to say, she would definitely express her opinion. And that's, coming in and just meeting everybody. So seeing her willingness to fit into the family and kind of just get in where she fit in, so to speak, and not be timid, not be worrying about what everybody thinks. Because like she said, ultimately, the authority is what I think. They really are secondary. So we were on the same page with that. But everybody pretty much, respected her. And that came, with like and admiration. So it was pretty professional.
Brother Black, now I know you don't have long with us. I know you got a short time, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and go next.
It was for her mom, it was okay. The mom, the sister, her dad passed away. So it was her mom and her sister. I met them. The big thing was her brother. I had an issue with that because he talked big on the phone. Then when I met him, he kind of calmed down a little bit because of the size difference. But we're cool now. But I think that it was a good. I met her. She's like, "What intention do you have for my daughter?" And I was, me, I'm a comedian at heart, and I was like, "Well, I have intentions to do what the other dudes didn't do that dated your daughter." And she said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, to love her, man. Be here for her. She's gonna be there for me. I mean, I'm ready to rock and roll." And she was like, "You plan on marrying my baby?" Absolutely, if that's where it goes. And so me and her have a good relationship even to this day. She is she's a great mother-in-law. I think she loves me more than she loves my wife. I'm gonna get a text in a few minutes here because she just heard that. But I think that she loves me a little bit more than she loves my wife. She calls me and talks to me all the time. She probably called me 10 times. She probably called my wife 3 times out the week. So that's what we at. But yeah, it's good on my end, brother.
I know that. I know that's right. Brother Bennett.
No, it's pretty positive, at least on my from my end. Although, like Black Man, my sister was in law enforcement, and one thing that that my wife, she didn't want to give, my sister was having a conversation, and she just wanted to know how old she was, and boy, she wouldn't tell her. So my sister later on, she just kind of pulled me to the side and be like, I can run the file on her if you want. I can get into the database and run the. I said, "No, that's all right." But it's just, again, Dottie, she's not very, upfront, like, sharing that information, especially with people she doesn't know. So it was definitely something that was, a little contentious there. But everyone else really, I think, liked her. And as far as my end, I think, I met the mom the first night. So again, that first date, went back to her house. Her mom was there, and met the mom, and met her. I think Michael. I think I met maybe next.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too. Actually, I met her brother a couple years earlier, because what I didn't know, and this is one of the things that we knew, that this was a good thing. My brother and her brother played basketball on the same collegiate team, Division III team, and didn't know that. And also, my aunt, my favorite aunt at the time, she had known her father because they had worked together over at GM. So there was just a lot of common family connections and crossovers that we found out while we were well into the dating process and everything. So yeah, I think it was established pretty early that we but I got into the family, like I said, right away, and that was almost strategic, because I'm like, if I'm going to be messing with you, I want to know I want to know if I got crazy folks, I got crazy brothers and uncles and aunts that I got to deal with. I want to know all of it, because you understand that when you get married, as much as you want to say, it's just about you and her, you are joining families. And if that's going to be an issue, then, that's something that needs to consider. Now, you can probably still go ahead and do it anyway if you want. But, the family's ability to get together and jive, I thought was just as important. And, so it was, I think, pretty, with the exception of my sister pulling me aside, I think everything else was smooth sailing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Brother James, look like you run solo. Is it? She's nervous about what she got to share. Is that what Lady Di nervous about what you got to?
Nah, these kids, they ain't trying to go to sleep. So so we try to get, they bedtime 8:30. So that's why we're trying to make sure they we still.
That's right. So hey, you gotta regulate. You got school. Are they back in school? School's back going?
No, not what we living at. They about to be soon, but not right now. So they this starts next week.
Okay.
But no, it's this week or next week.
Next week for one, and after Labor Day for the other two.
See, all these different dates, man. I don't keep up with it.
Hey, thank goodness for Lady Di. She there to help you.
Exactly.
So what did your parents feel about the first time they met James and Lady Di, vice versa?
So my mom loved him because, like I said earlier, he cared so much about me, and he showed it through his actions. And she was like, we wasn't even in a relationship yet. And there was a time where I was really sick. So I let him know, I'm sick. We were friends. I'm sorry. We were friends 3 years before we started dating. So I was telling him that I was sick, and he did everything he could to bring medicine home, because he basically what?
Don't tell that story. That's
illegal. Okay. Don't tell that story.
Oh my God.
We're gonna move on to the next story. You got another story for us?
I basically did something I ain't supposed to do. I got some type of medication because I had connections in the pharmacy, so that's why.
So he basically
don't tell that story.
Look, she kept that detail out. You just told on yourself. She didn't tell you.
ATF quarter.
Jay's about to get locked up.
It's very interesting. I'm trying to keep it where it's simple. We're one of those that we kind of moved in quick. So our dates were at the house. It wasn't traditional where you date for a year. Oh, I like you. Let's get engaged. Okay, we move in.
Yeah.
It was straight up arranged type of style.
I wasn't trying to waste time, so I was like, man, let's
it was serious quickly. So, he, like I said, so my mother loved him because how much he cared about me before we were even in a relationship. He was very thoughtful. So, and then my dad, when he met him, was probably 6 months after we were already in a relationship. And I think he said, oh, he's nice. And that was that.
Yeah. So I'm from the South. So, in the South, they love everybody you bring to the house. So it's you can bring anybody to the house, but they'll be all nice with them stuff. But after a while, they're like, hey, man, she got a leg missing, don't you know? They'll say something like, they'll bring something behind the scenes to you, whatever, right? But to the person, they love you. It's kind of like they love everybody. But man, my family really loved her because I was a single dad at the time. So and she came into the picture. She was doing motherly things. She was actually helping me out around the house a lot. So I was like, man, I was living so ghetto. I was like, man, it was because I was living. I ain't have no kitchen table. Me and my kids, me and my son was eating on the couch and stuff like that. And she came, as soon as she came in, she was like, hey, don't you think you should buy a table? And because so he can learn how to eat at a table. I was just worried about him surviving. He had food, he was good. And she was very thoughtful, hey. I was I was giving him a whole sandwich. She was like, hey, how about you cut it up?
He was giving him an entire whole adult sandwich without cutting it. And I'm like, he's like,
hey, I was struggling, man.
I was like 2. I'm like, what are we doing?
I was like, man, but she came in the picture. So my family really they loved that, seeing her, how she came into it. And she, no kids. Just before she had no kids. And just being thoughtful and just trying to help out me in the house, man. That was a blessing. So.
But it took his stepdad almost 2 years to take me serious because of his previous marriage.
Yeah.
So his stepdad pretty much didn't talk to me. He'll just look and smile. And then 2 years later, he finally asked me a real question. I'm like, Okay, you know, and then he kept talking to me after that, like real great relationship. And I was like, damn, okay, well, I think I'm in the family now.
So stepfather, he had to warm up to you. It just took a while to do.
Yeah,
I think he liked me, but he was probably just nervous from
he
his
just
past.
watch it, and he liked to watch a lot, and he's not a talking to person. You got to really know him and be cool with him for years for him to actually open up to you. You know what I mean? So he was real, and he, you know what I mean, he was brought up in a period of time in an area that, you know what I mean, they didn't really trust too many people. So I just say it like that. So yeah,
good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Sweeney and the family. What we got there? I know your parents loved it, but I know her parents is like, damn.
My mom was cool. My mom was cool. My mom was pretty much like everybody though. My stepdad was a little weird. He actually still is a little weird, to be quite honest. So he don't think nobody good for his daughter. So it is what it is.
I know that's right.
For my parents, all right, I'll start off with this. Y'all know how every single family has a habitual line crosser, right? Like somebody that just habitually crosses lines.
Oh yeah.
That was my Uncle Ears. Cross lines with everybody. And so I've only brought 2 girls home ever. The first one my Uncle Ears made cry. They said she's not gonna make it. And so one day, you know what I mean, Gracie, you know what I mean, I brought Gracie and he tried that same shit. Didn't work out so well. They like, oh, you're gonna fit in very well. And
Gracie, did you have to cuss Unc out?
I had to cuss him out. I had to cuss him out.
Hey.
And like when we realized though, because her parents and my parents are good friends now. Like they kick it all the time with one another. And what we basically realized is that we both come from similar family backgrounds. Like almost you can damn near call like if I got somebody in my family, she can say, oh, I got somebody in your family, just in my family, just like that. And you can pretty much work like, so we both come from similar family backgrounds. So my parents rock with her because she knew how to hang. She can, you know what I mean, kick it with my family, kick it with my parents, and fit right in. So my parents loved it right out the back.
Then already told me if we get divorced that I'm still family. So
they're like, she ain't going nowhere.
I'm still family.
You heard that, did you? You stuck with her. Oh man, Trigger Mike, what you got for me, big brother?
You know what? I think someone already said it. Mom is cool, you know, she's cordial with everybody. She didn't like this fetish I had with older women when I was young, so definitely wasn't cool with them. But every girl that was you know, my age, she was very nice. My mom is more of the teacher, you know, Nigerian lady, so she just want to teach you something. She believes she can teach you how to cook. Oh, I will teach you to make all the Nigerian dishes for, you know, all that type of stuff. So she get excited. She got excited with anybody I brought home that was my age. But my father was he was the tough one. Many a time, I don't know if y'all know, but naturally Nigerian parents want you to get married to a Nigerian girl. And I thought for a long time that was, you know, a bad thing, but it's, you know, as I got older, I started to understand that they want you to choose someone of similar values, morals, and all of that. Somebody that will literally want to merge families, as somebody said, because it's extremely hard to do that with someone who doesn't believe in that sort of thing and believe that marriage is the merging of families, not just 2 people. And I had a on and off relationship in college that went on all 4, you know, almost all 4 years of college and a little bit after. So I almost soured my chances to choose my own wife because my dad had my wife chosen for me. He was like literally going to get her to me to sign her visa and all of that to come live here, you know, and marry me and all of that. And so I had one chance, like one last chance. And so he put, you know, naturally he was sitting there with that gaze, you know how dads do. They put their arms together and just put it in their lap while everybody's meeting each other. He didn't say anything. But the good thing is that I told you my wife is naturally pleasant. She naturally took to respect and going with my mom and saying yes, ma'am, and all of this. So he was cool. He didn't have anything to say in that regard. And then, my mom started asking the funny question, you gonna have children one day? And she's like, of course. And then, doing everything she did on our first date and the subsequent dates afterward, so he could see everything I saw. And I was like, whoo, thank God. Because if you didn't do this here and now, he would have told me straight up, I don't approve. And I don't know for y'all, I'm a firstborn. And I'm not only a firstborn, they made this big deal about me being the firstborn American, in the family. So they're like, everybody's looking at you. And he's right. My dad was right when he looked at it. He said, everything you do, your younger brother will do. Everything you do, your younger cousins will do. Every single thing I did and the way I did it led to that domino effect of my brother, my cousins, and everybody doing the exact same thing that I did. So he was right. I chose a pleasant woman that could pass that litmus test, of my father. So I'm very proud of that. But it was really just because she was so pleasant and family oriented. She wanted our parents to meet and all of that, and they invited them to some African parties, and it was all good. So that part I'm really glad. As far as me and her people's, I'ma just gloat. I've always been the favorite boyfriend. But it was also because I'm so family oriented. I'm extremely respectful, and I've always been taught to be, and extremely accommodating. While everybody else is sitting down after a dad has just cooked, I'll go help him scrape the grill. Sir, do you need anything else from me? That type of thing. I was taught to do that my whole life. So I've always been the favorite boyfriend. So much so that up until a few months before I got married, one of my ex-girlfriend's mom called me and asked me if I was still single. I said, no, man. So, yeah, I never really worried about that part. You just have to not like. I think I did run into an occurrence one time where the mom, I guess because she wasn't successful in relationships, just didn't like anybody. That was the only time I ever ran into that. But no problems on that front for me.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Trevor, I'm gonna get you next, but let me read the super chat real fast. Shout out to Security Boss, man. One of the good ones out there promoting marriage and promote love and all that good stuff. So shout out to her. She says, awesome show. And salute to the panel in the chat. I don't know about awesome, but I'm trying. I'm trying. So Trev and Miss Amanda, what did the in-laws think about you when they first met you, big brother?
All right, so I'd say my parents were a bit overprotective. So my the mom, she was a bit apprehensive at first. She eventually warmed up when she saw, like, okay, nah, she's actually cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, anybody who I ever tried to bring around, she was on guard and saw like, well, you make sure it is. Watch out for that. And so that's just what that was. As far as the Pops was concerned, I mean, he kind of trusted in what I was doing, so he never really was like anti about it. But what I would say is that once he first went, he's like, yeah, man, I think you're gonna be in shape with this, good shape with this one. So, that was comforting. As far as siblings and everything, that was cool. A lot of my friends, they definitely appreciated her. So I don't think we had a bad vibe with that, fortunately. But I'm gonna let her go.
Well, my mom liked him a lot because he was respectful and how he was with me. Like, I didn't have a car at first. I had a job, but I didn't have a car. So he used to always help me out with rides and different things like that. And he was always concerned about, like, my well-being, and my whole family kind of, like, liked him because he was, like, polite to them. So my dad, he didn't really care too much for him at first, but then he warmed up after a while, after he saw what kind of guy he was.
I think that's only because he didn't know what it was. Yeah.
He didn't know your intentions first, as of yet.
Yeah. So that's understandable. I wasn't mad at him for that.
Look here, man. I mean,
did you have a beard? Did you have a beard in the shades at that time?
No, I just got this
Okay.
a year and a half ago or something like that.
Yeah, something. That's what it was. If you did,
Listen, if y'all dig far enough from my social media, YouTube, you'll see I had none of that. I had like no hair on my face, like Tom Brady type, maybe the stubble. That's about it. But my eyes be tired. I wear sunglasses all the time because I don't do a lot of sleep at all. So, like I literally woke up 6, was working the entire time, then came over here, like with no break, no nothing, and then I'm gonna do something as soon as I'm done. So that's just how my life goes. So it's like, a couple hours here, sleep, a couple hours there. See, I could make it. My body's not tired, but my eyes don't lie. They tired all the time. So I was like, damn, I could either keep putting the cream and all of that, or I could just throw some shades on and keep my day going.
I know that's right. Sister and Brother Harris, what about you guys?
Yeah, we jumped on this first.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yep. No, you're good.
As far as me, my lady hasn't got the opportunity to meet my father yet, and I wasn't able to meet. Well, let me take it back. I met her mother, but of course, it wasn't serious when I met her mother and her father. But I did get that opportunity. Unfortunately, both of them are moved on, so we won't get that opportunity to. I won't get that opportunity to really have a conversation with them and let them know my intentions for their daughter. But yeah, so it's just unfortunate. But yeah, as far as me, she will get that opportunity here soon, sooner than she realizes it. But she's already met my son as well as my granddaughter and my daughter. So the most important part of my family, she has met already and had interactions, and they love her and they respect her. My son thinks she's real nice because she's always taking up for him and make me go soft on his ass. So that's why he likes it so much, because for some reason she makes me soft around him. But he don't realize when she leaves, I'm gonna get his ass again. He ain't gonna get away with this bullshit. But yeah, that's that's what my son like. My daughter, like, she just wanted to see me happy. You know what I'm saying? That was her main thing. As long as I'm happy, it doesn't matter what she thinks. She said, as long as I'm happy. And my granddaughter loves everybody. I gotta get on about giving everybody a hug. You don't give everybody a hug, but she loves everybody. So that's that beautiful innocence in her. So that's just kids, right? That is just kids. Now, this question I have now, if you don't feel comfortable answering, I understand. But if you do, I appreciate it. So during your time in your marriages, the low points, right? We know that there are some low points. There's not always high points. It's not always good. How did y'all deal with that? How did y'all address it when y'all was at your low points, when y'all was at points of, man, can I keep going? Can I stay in this? Can I stay in this fight? So how did that look for you guys? If any of y'all feel comfortable answering, please just I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind talking about that, right? You got to be transparent so people know what they're getting themselves into. From the beginning, we set a standard for fighting with a cap. It's normal and natural to have disagreements and arguments and such, but the name calling, the blaming and shaming and nitpicking, like those types of things, we've never done. We try to focus on the conversation, even if we butt heads, we never took the anger out on each other, physically and, mouth wise, verbal abuse or anything like that. It's just, knowing that neither one of our intentions are meant to harm each other. It's just sometimes there's a breakdown and we don't understand one another. So, we revisit it another time or whatever the case may be, but we never got to a point where we want to leave the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree. We just approach it very consciously. Like she said, I'm big on words. And when people don't have the words to express themselves, that's when they yell. That's when they curse. That's when they belittle. And we always just try to operate different from that. Like she said, even heavyweight boxers have instruction before they start swinging. No hitting below the belt, so on and so forth. And we operate the same way. No hitting below the belt, no operating from this negative standpoint, because we've always been good. From the day you walked up to me in the club, it's never been about us. It's these triangulars, maybe the kids, maybe the bills, maybe the house, maybe the car, maybe the insurance, whatever the case may be. But we always been good. So we consciously remember that. We consciously love up on each other because we always been in love. The obstacles are going to come. And that's what she taught me. You know, even when we get through something, there's always going to be the next thing. So, you know, operating from that mindset and knowing that, like I said, we always been good. It just may be something else jumping into the equation right now, but we always been good.
Right. And not just that, we both came from environments of toxicity. So, you know, fighting and, you know, negative talk, down talk, you ain't shit, you know, verbal abuse, physical abuse. So us being very aware of all of those things, just knowing like this is not something we are going to take into our relationship, show our children, and just take matters that way. So just seeing that was like, yeah, nah, we're not going to do that.
Great question.
Good stuff. So, anybody else want to jump in and answer the question?
We can go. So it's kind of this conversation is a lot easier when you with somebody that has like a no nonsense divorce type of deal like that. Like the thought of divorce is not in the head, right? So it makes the marriage a lot easier to be with, right? Because you know what I mean, sometimes I might have my lows, right? I might be a little you know what I mean, I might be get a little angry a little quick or something like that, right? Because you know what I mean, I'm dealing with this, I got 100 things in my brain, right? And her to be there to be, hey, it's okay, just relax me type of deal. So a lot of times when you're in these situations, a lot of people don't want to let their ego, you know what I mean, go. So sometimes, hey, I might be a little aggravated and she can see that, right? So if you see your partner or your husband, wife aggravated, you know what I mean, just say, hey, it's okay, you know what I mean, you got to just calm them down. And then if y'all can't talk right then and there, you just talk later. So it's kind of easier when y'all have that understanding. Y'all don't really have too many emotions because you just know that person just dealing with something right now. It's not about you. It's just about what they dealing with, something else. You didn't do nothing wrong to them. They just in their head, they got a whole bunch of things going on. You know what I mean? So once those things go on, they be like, all right, my bad, I was tripping, or you know what I mean, they can come back and then they can apologize, but you make it worse when you're trying to argue with that person and you disrespected me, you did this, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? As long as they don't do it in public, you know what I mean? But if they can do it behind closed doors and say some things because sometimes you say stuff you don't mean, you know what I mean? But it just depends on what you're saying, right? Because you say the wrong damn thing, guys. So we have a problem. But you know, y'all get what I'm saying. So yeah.
I think mainly it's just learning your spouse. Because if you learn like the triggers and everything, if you know how they look, like when he got a vein right here on the top of his head, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm not gonna sit here and keep picking at it. I'm gonna go this way. Like some people, they don't understand or they're not paying attention enough to notice the signs. And I think that's very important. So I can't say we have a lot of low points. And this is because we used to. So before we got married, it was crazy. Like I would leave. We broke up like 3 times because I'm like, this ain't gonna work. And I had the thought of always leaving. But then it came to a point where I realized that he is like the one for me and he's a good person. I don't know if I'm gonna come across this again. So I was like, you know what? Let me figure out why I'm always wanting to go when stuff gets hard. So that's when I had to, go through my own stuff and figure it out. Once I did that, I actually changed pretty much and he noticed. So then that's when we got married. And then since then, I never thought of divorce. And it's been 7 years of marriage coming up. And I've never, ever thought of divorce, even when we, had like that low, the times we did have like a low. So I think mindset is important. Once you have the mindset of we're not splitting up, it makes things easier. So if there was like a disagreement, you'll be able to handle it easier because you're like, okay, well, you're gonna be here tomorrow, so we good. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna just be all upset and be like, oh, I hate you and I'm not happy. So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Anybody else want to chime in?
So much I could say, I guess. But hard time. I mean, you're definitely gonna encounter them. But what I can say is it's very interesting how little we fight as far as blowout arguments and stuff. You know, a level of maturity, I believe, has to be achieved before you get married anyway. And you have to be willing to put fires out before they even start, I guess. And one of the things I would say that I've achieved in being married is the ability to use my foresight correctly. I actually did this yesterday. If you have something that you need to say to your spouse, you should be able to foreshadow the response. You should be able to be like, and then she's gonna say this. So how do we get around that roadblock? So I was waiting on my son to get out of school in the car rider line. I had that conversation with myself, answering for my wife. You see, I'm telling you, it's some ninja stuff, and it should come to you over the years, right? Of course, it happened in perfect sequence, like I imagined it when I told her later that day. So yeah, but really, you should be able to foreshadow those things, and I think that has helped me immensely because I'm actually not trying to be right. I just want things to work. As a man, I would implore most husbands to be that person in their house. You are the one who dictates how this is going to go. So don't do it to win. Don't do it to be right. I want it to work. I want there to be little to no argument. How can I achieve that? I really think you can get through an entire life of marriage with that mindset as a man, because that woman literally just bends to to your temperature. Whatever's going on with you is usually how the argument is going to take shape after that. So I could say most of our blowouts and stuff like that. And then there was a cultural component. I did not realize until I got married how much I am like my father. Very much like that man. Old, in fact, I put it to you like this. I hope he's not watching. My father is the Nigerian version of a redneck. He grew up in the country, not in the city part, so he is old school, biblical about everything. And I did not know I was that way till I got married. Talk with my hands, all that type of stuff. Hard knuckles, brass knuckles. The kids are going to do this and this and that. I even do it in his accent sometimes. But I'm glad that she learned. I think she learned that outside of the approach, this man just cares about the way this house is run, and he cares about the discipline of his children and how they turn out in life. And I'm very thankful I had a woman that can see through, all that was going on and say, damn, that's what he cares about. So if I just give a yes, dear, maybe he won't be, this way forever. And you ever been flabbergasted, like saying something and you literally just get okay, well, we'll do that. And you had more, but you're like, wait, was that a yes? So when she started doing that to me and stopped giving me pushback, that quelled arguments. Yeah, that took out almost arguments completely. So I'm glad we have that, but it was a lot of maturity, a lot of foresight, and making sure that you try to understand what your spouse is going to say so you can avoid those type of roadblocks. And then if your spouse means well, giving them what they want, despite, your own self-interest. That's all I can say.
Well, I appreciate it, Brother Mike. I do. I really do. Thank you, sir. Did anybody else?
Yeah.
I'll rock with this.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I could say the most challenging thing in a relationship, and something that we dealt with, was changing dynamics, right? And I feel like everybody who is considering getting marriage understands that it's very difficult when you change the dynamic. For instance, when you decide to live with another person, right? And it's different. Like when y'all were dating and everything, you go home your way, but now they're in your space all the time, right? What you considered to have as privacy before is no longer privacy anymore, right? Like when if you go to use the bathroom, you close the door, they might be like, "Hey, what you closing the door for?" Like, I'm in the bathroom. Like, so you lose a lot of that, right? People they make their way into your toiletries sometimes, and you got to get used to that. I had to kind of get used to that because I'm a dude, like I like my everything. Like, this is mine. Don't touch my chapstick. Don't touch my lotion. Don't touch my deodorant, because you're not gonna roll it the same way I roll it. Like, stuff like that would drive me nuts. Don't move my stuff cleaning up because I put that there on purpose. Now you moved it. Now I can't find it. You don't know where you put it. Man, what we doing? So that type of stuff happens, right? So you move with somebody, and then you have to pay bills together, right? We might have different spending habits. So I'm glad you said, Hank, earlier you were checking out what's the credit score and everything else, because it's different when you have to put your money together. You're not gonna be making the same. Okay, you make more, so you pay more. Well, you got to work that stuff out. So it's not going to be very easy when you start getting that. And children, forget about it. That is absolutely going to change the dynamic because, listen, when that baby wake you up at 4 a.m. and then they looking at you, you looking at them, this year go, you're like, what? What you mean? Listen, that's what's one of them things. It changes. That's all I'm saying. You have to be able to go through change together and grow collectively, because that is the most challenging thing when you start to change those dynamics. That's going to test it, right? If you can get through those phases that I mentioned, you solid. But unfortunately, you don't know, because a lot of those things you may want to do before you get a house, before you have children, you want to be married to them. But I think it's very important to be transparent, like a lot of us mentioned in the early phases. Talk about it, because it's extremely important for you to know what to expect from the other person, and it's as important for them to understand what you expect from them, right? So we have to do that. And if you have to go, if you got to go the way that Mr. Bennett did, man, it is what it is. If you can't articulate to them, write it out. You know what I mean? Just go ahead. However you communicate it, just make sure that it is a way that your partner, your counterpart, can receive it well.
I wanted to say something to that. Oh,
no. Did you want to go? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Lady Di.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think like back in the day, like writing out what you really want to say helped me. Because I'll write out like literally a whole page, a whole bunch of stuff I can't say because it could be disrespectful, or he may take it disrespectful. The conversation may turn to something else that it don't need to go. So I'll just write out my stuff, get my thoughts out, because that's sometimes what happens is people don't let release. They just keep it in, and then over time, people start getting super angry. So I know my breaking point, and I know I can get overwhelmed quick. So I'm like, you know what? This is what I do, and it works. I don't do it now, but it worked for me. And that's how it help with arguments.
Yeah, if I could, it's pretty much the same thing what Trigger Mike said, piggybacking on what he said about maturity. I think when you learn over the years that you've been together, it's been 14 years for me, so you learn over time as you mature. And one of the things that I used to, you grow up in families, and my family, divorce is not an option. Right, my mom and dad 40 years, my grandmother and grandfather 63 years, aunts and stuff 28 years plus. They don't get divorced. But what I used to do is go down to my grandmother's house and listen to her and my grandfather get into spats, and we used to watch it. And then at night, little country house in the South, at night that you be sleeping on the couch, and I'll hear my grandmother say, or my grandfather, whichever one, baby, earlier today I was wrong. Will you forgive me? And as I got older, I asked my grandmother, what is that about? She said, well, and she took me to a scripture in the Bible that says that you should never let the sun go down while angry. And that's what they live by. They never went to bed mad at each other. So I tried to implement that in my marriage. And at first, it's Monday. I'll talk to you Wednesday, right? Because I'm upset right now. I'm upset. She was upset, right? But over time, as we matured and got to a better, a better understanding and the maturity, as Trigger Mike was alluding to, then yeah, okay, before we go to bed at night, baby, we're not getting up in the morning with the same energy. We're not. We're gonna talk it out tonight. We're gonna get it over with in the morning. We're gonna start a whole nother day. And that's what we're gonna do. And so that's what we're in practice of doing now, right? We still do it now. Baby, you upset about something? Baby, is there anything you want to talk about before we go to bed? I know earlier you were a little upset with me. What was that about? And then we'll have that conversation. So that's what we try to live by now, by not trying to go to bed angry at each other or having any type of disagreement before we go to bed. You muted, Doc. You muted.
I'm sorry. Good stuff, man. Was it somebody else I think you want to share?
I can talk. I can talk a little bit. I think for us, and some of it's I think already been mentioned. One is the biggest I think point for us was expectations of the other person. The what you imagine in your mind, what your dreams are versus the reality, and having a sense of empathy for how the other person's feeling. I think when those two things mix, that I think ultimately that's what led to a lot of our issues. Trev, you were talking about the changes. Like I said, when kids came, that changed everything because that's when I lost my wife. You know what I mean? She became mom and less my wife. I didn't have that direct access to her the way I had for that 3 years. And we were married for 3 years because our courtship was very short. From first date to marriage was 10 months. And we said we wanted to be married for a while before we had kids. So we were married for 3 years. But all that time, she was mine. And then we had 3 kids in 4 years. So
bless your heart, Doc.
Yes. Because again, we weren't super young, and I didn't want to have like a 20-year-old and a 5-year-old. We was like, we don't have these kids. I'm gonna get snipped at the end, and we done. The shop is closed. So it's like, so we're not so we knocked them out. And but again, she's got 3 kids, 3 toddlers, nursing one, Tyler stay out. So she's exhausted. But I'm still in my feelings about where she's not there for me. So part of the maturity, I had to grow up and have an understanding of what she was dealing with. And then one thing about her is now she is like, at least on the surface, she comes up sometimes as like really just cold as ice. So I can be expressing how I'm feeling sometimes, and she'd be like, "Get over it." So we're and also I'm a classic cave dweller. Remember that book, Men Are From Mars and Women from Venus? I'm the classic cave dweller. When I'm upset, I go into a cave. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. I'll go to the couch. You don't have to stay in bed. I'll go on the couch. There's several nights. There used to be weeks that would go by like virtually no communication except for kids, work, important stuff. But we're not having we're not there. And like Trigger Mike, you talk about that the permutations of mine. I was like, y'all remember Doctor Strange from one of the Avengers movies? He had to play out all those scenarios. How are we gonna win this war against Thanos? He went through 2 million permutations of the arguments.
Yeah,
I did the same thing. So I played multiple scenarios. It was like war games when try all these strategies and whatnot. Which is the winning one? I did that for a lot of time. And so, because one thing that I still believe to this day is you can never take back what you don't say. And one of the biggest fears I always had was for me in my anger to say something that I could never take back. Even if she could say, I forgive you, all that kind of stuff, whatever. Hey, it was in the heat. But that just always, because all of us can remember somebody saying something to us in our youth that we probably still remember to this day, that it almost still has the same sting to it. And so I never wanted to be in that situation. So I would always pull back. I would go into my quiet place. When I got to a point where I thought I could argue fairly and not out of anger and really express my thoughts and kind of get, okay, I think I can talk about this. Now, if she was open to talk, then we talk about it. But I think part of it was me becoming more mature in order to understand and deal with those transitions, those highs and lows, and those things that come up in a relationship. And I think where she may have, gotten better as at being more empathetic about me having the right to express my feelings the way they were. You have a right to your feelings, and it's not fair for me to just dismiss them. So I think that was something that really helped us to shrink those where it'd be 2 weeks no talking to like a week. Now it's down to like I guess about a day,
Oh, yeah, about
about
that.
a day or two. Whereas like we could still be in that space, but it's like, okay, let's kill this if we can. Let's get back on, more what Black Man saying, don't let the sun go down. Well, we still maybe a day or so, but again, the arguments, the disagreements, stuff is a lot less over time. But we had to kind of grow into that certainly over time. But yes, I can certainly relate to what Trigger was saying. But and Trigger, I was like chess. I had all the moves, all the chess moves down, looking for just the perfect moves in order to get it down. So yeah, so definitely maturity and growing up, and again, at least being more empathetic to at least listen and to understand and to respect the fact that you have a right to feel the way you feel about a situation, and I can't take that away from you. And that helped out a lot.
You know what? If I can add to that real quick, I mean, I think we skip over the most important thing. Trev said it. Mr. Bennett alluded to it. When you said kids, a lot of heads did this, right? Because kids do play a major part, and you having your wife, and y'all like rabbits, and then the kids come, and it's like turtles. It's slow. Everything slows down, and you trying to rub that thigh, and that baby say, you like, God, baby, it's your turn. You're gonna get up 2:00 in the morning. You got to get up and go get the baby. Then got to be at work for 6. I mean,
it's worse than that. Right, man, it's worse than that. It's like you touch that thigh, like, don't touch me.
Yeah, don't touch me. Right, hormones that change.
I'm just mad.
Before you had this baby, I'm not there yet. Yeah, and even with my wife and I, I pretty much did what Mr. Bennett did. 19 years old, and I got a 19-year-old, and then it goes from there 16, 14, 13, and 12. So they just boop, 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 boop. Right, we didn't have cable, guys. And so I have twins, right, that are 13. And imagine just getting up in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning, you change one not to interrupt the other. And then as soon as you pull the cover over your head, the other one starts crying and he's changing too. And it took some adjusting for me. Right. And we got cable immediately. With Snip Gang, we got cable immediately. So we can stop that. Yeah. Go ahead. That's all I want to add to it.
Oh, but everybody will say, I'll share. We good. I got one more question. Well, not one more question, but I know my man Trez got to go, but I want to get him in first for this question. And the question is, what's one of those things you had to change about yourself when you got married? What was one of the things that you had to change about yourself when you got married? So, Trev, you want to go ahead and go, because I know you got to go after this. So I appreciate you coming, you and the wife.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple things I had to change, man. Like I was explaining a little bit before, is just learning how to live amongst people, right? One, and certain things I'm still working on. Just empathy, right? That was pretty difficult. I saw things a certain way. I was taught a certain way, kind of hard nosed. And, it was kind of militant, not to the point where it's abuse, but no, there's no excuses. So I'm looking at people and I'm like, no excuses. What do you mean? Why you can't do it? And, sometimes I'm trying to dial it back a bit, but, I consider myself high functioning. So it's more difficult for me to just be around anybody who is not on my insane level sometimes, right? And I can't expect everybody to be like that. So I'm getting better at that. But I understand now that what I do is like way over the top in comparison to most people. So me just kind of adjust and say, you know what? They're not supposed to be like that. That's something that me myself I do with wife and kids. Like, no, y'all gotta, you gotta do it. That's just how I feel sometimes. Like, because that's how I was raised. Go ahead and do it. So it's making that adjustment, and I think that's the most important thing. One thing that I did change that I felt like I have changed a lot to the point where I feel like I'm comfortable with now is also not overextending myself, learning when to say no, learning more about balance, right? Just understanding, okay, even if family time is going to be limited, it's going to happen. We're going to do this on this day. This is what's going to happen, right? And then just understanding what you are as a person and adapting it, right? Just you want to do everything. You want to be high functioning, but you have to fit certain things in. I don't really care about doing stuff for me personally, but when it comes to family, there's certain things that you just have to do. That's part of your duty, and you have to understand it as your duty. So I felt like I changed a lot of that. Anything you changed?
Yeah, I think once we got married, I think I had to learn how to, like, everything became about the kids, because the kids was like the focal point and had to be put on the forefront. All of their needs had to be met. So, and you being my husband, I had to focus on you a lot, but I lost a little bit of myself. So I had to learn that just because I'm a wife, that I'm still a woman first. And it's okay for me to have a day to do things for myself, to make myself happy outside of my family. So I had to learn to get to know myself again after I got married, because I didn't know who I was. Everything was always about everybody else. So I think it's important that after you get married to not lose yourself and lose your identity in your marriage. Okay?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I appreciate you guys, man. Definitely, Trevor and Mrs. Amanda. I appreciate you guys coming up.
Thank you.
for watching with us. And
problem.
hopefully,
Again, thank you for
work some
having
more
us.
together, Trev, for sure.
What's that?
I said, hopefully, we work some more together, big brother.
Oh yeah. I'm I'm with the shits. I'm trying to fit it into my balance, right? But you already know how it go.
Hey, that's what it's all about, brother.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it'll definitely happen again, bro. I'm definitely with it. Definitely with it.
I
Appreciate y'all. All of y'all, great talk. It was a pleasure being part of it. Salute to everybody tonight.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Yeah.
Y'all
All
take
right.
care.
Hank,
Later.
we about to get up out of here too. So let me go ahead and answer that question as well.
Yeah,
Me
'Cause I
too.
can smell that roast,
I gotta go too.
and I've been starving all day.
Go ahead, bro.
What was the one? It's crazy. I didn't think anything would change because me and her been together we was together for 10 years before we got married. So I'm thinking, it's like, man, it's gonna be the same. You know what I mean? Me and her both had the same mindset, like, man, ain't nothing gonna change. But I realized literally almost a day or so after I got married, something like switched in my head where it felt like, I don't know how to explain it, but you feel like, okay, it felt more solidified, like, okay, this is my job. This is my charge in life. So what are you going to do to make sure that this makes it to the end? And you know what I mean? You almost like what you thought your relationship was, or what you thought everything would be, becoming a husband changes that. Because now you go from, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just a boyfriend, to I'm her husband. And you know what I mean? That's when I started to look to the men around me, like to the married men around me, to really learn, like, okay, what is a husband supposed to be? What is he supposed to do? What is his responsibility? And you know what I mean? And that's what I started to learn. You know what I mean? I looked to my pops. I looked to my uncle. I looked to I had a couple married friends, and I always looked to them, and I went to them for advice and things like that. So I guess that's what changed in me, is that, I had that different mindset. Like, I went from boyfriend to husband mode.
He went to marriage. I was thinking from the beginning of our relationship, what have I had to change? And I would say that I was an angry person. Like I was always angry. I ain't gonna say I'm not angry no more, but it was really bad. That was probably the worst of most of our arguments. And when we got together, I was 18, he was 21. So most of the changing was growing up. And when we got together, we moved in almost immediately. So I was an 18-year-old on my own for the first time with a 1-year-old. It was a mess. So the change was just basically growing up and realizing that we're adults now.
Yeah, we were some characters.
You said what she say, Sweeney?
I was like, we were some characters.
Hey man, that's part of life, man. But look, I know y'all got to go get to that roasting and potatoes. You burnt in there. I understand. I want you to go get to that.
Hey, look. Very, very rare do I burn shit.
Talk your shit, brother. Hey man, make sure you send me a plate then.
Ain't gonna be none left over.
God damn, I know that's right. Hey man, y'all enjoy y'all meal. I appreciate y'all coming up and hanging out with me, man. Thank you guys.
Thank y'all.
All right, Swin. All right, Evelyn. Thank you there.
Yeah, I got it.
Lady guy, Brother James.
Shoot, honestly, man. So when I first got with her, I told her from the jump, like, hey, I'm treating this like a marriage, like, cause I like to put things at the front. Like, so I told her, like, hey, I'm gonna treat this relationship as a marriage. You ain't gonna get no more than this, what you getting right now. So don't think if we do get married that you're gonna be, I won't be like jumping out of planes and doing all this extra stuff to please you. So I was like, hey, this is what I'm treating you like how I would if I was your husband now. So if you like this, cool. Then we can we get married and stuff like that. But if not, just let me know. So we can go our separate ways. So but in the beginning, one thing I had to do was I had to like fix some of my issues, like trust issues coming out of my last marriage and coming to this one. That was one of the major things that I had to like, all right, it's okay to like trust people type of deal. So that was the major thing I had to hurdle I had to do. I was already perfect before that, so no, I'm joking.
No, that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Look, now what you laughing at? You heard what he said. He said what he said. He said what he said. Now,
come on.
I'm laughing because he probably do think.
See how
he wasn't joking. He dead serious.
You see how they think about you? No.
One major thing was I had to change my sarcasm. I was very sarcastic. One thing about me, I get annoyed. I used to get annoyed quick. Like things would just be like, "Why are you doing that?" Anything that's like to me that's silly or stupid in my head, I pop like a sarcasm. So with him, he kind of checked me on that right away, like from the jump. He was like, I don't care what you going through, but you ain't gonna be talking to me like that. But he was serious. So that's why I liked him, because he was serious about his business. Like he didn't let nothing good pass. Like, I don't care how cute you look, but you ain't about to do that. So it kind of put me like in check quick, like, oh yeah, okay. And I didn't like that he was upset. So I'm like, because I don't like confrontation. So even though I'm sarcastic, I don't like confrontation. It's funny. But I didn't like him being mad. And I was like, yeah, no, this is not gonna work. So I had to change. So what I did was I learned how to like have a balance. Like I wouldn't do it with him at all. But catch me outside, you know what I'm saying? I'm at a restaurant, somebody do or say something stupid, it's gonna turn, the switch gonna come back on. So I know how to turn it on and off. But that's one thing for sure I had to change, because I don't think I would have been married if I kept that up. So yeah, that's it.
I'll go because I gotta go. I pretty much agree with my brother that went before me when he talked about being militant. I think that I grew up in a household like that. Everything had to be done at a certain time because there was a lot of us, a lot of kids, plus my mom and dad. And so everything had to be done on a schedule, on a time. Everything had to be done in sequence that way. And so I brought that here. And I was like him, no nonsense. Hey, listen, why can't this be done? Why can't this be done? Right? Even with the kids, listen, this is what you're going to do. You're going to iron your clothes for the week. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to eat by this time. You're going to be in bed by this time, right? It was just more militant. And that's one of the things I had to change because, I still do it, but I have to do it in another way, right? Because my wife looked at it as being an asshole, basically. And I can admit that I was being one. I was. Because I had no empathy. And that's one of the things I had to work on as well. I don't give a damn about your feelings, facts over feelings all day, every day. And let's get this done. Let's get it done now. And so I had to try to back off of that and try to do things differently. I tell my mom and dad all the time that I blame them for my start because they were my daddy was militant. At 8:31, he told you bed at 8:30, 8:31, you walking down that hallway is a problem. Because everything had to have structure because he was never there. He was a cross-country driver. So he wanted to make sure while he was there, the structure was there. So when he left, the structure would stay under my mom. And so I had to change those things. I had to be more empathetic and less militant. So it's hard, especially dealing with 6 kids. Woo!
That's a challenge, ain't it?
Oh
That
my
is a
God.
challenge.
I just had PTSD.
Brother Mike, what you got for us?
Well, have a good night.
All
All right,
brother.
Brody. One thing I had to change about myself. Oh, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm joking. No, I'm not. I had to become a better listener. That's really all it was. And it's actually by nature. So interestingly enough, I'm an eldest child, and my wife is an eldest child as well. And watching how my dad kind of ruled over his kingdom, that man was ever present, right? But there were, people like to say we're not in the 1950s and all that type of stuff. But in my opinion, the more things change, the more they kind of stay the same. I could still be the king of my own domain, but I had to understand that there might be modern differences that I need to adjust and adapt and be more dynamic around. So I had to basically learn to be a bit more dynamic. It's not going to be a carbon copy of what I grew up with. I need to take a positive inventory of what's going on now and allow my wife to have input in that. Right? Because I had a plan. People say a man should have a plan. Well, damn it, I had one, but I wasn't willing to adjust it for anybody. Because to me that was acquiescing to a woman, and we don't do that in our culture. But absolutely, that is my companion. She absolutely has say so. And one of the things that I thought was very beautiful is that I learned to lean into her strengths and her instincts. I'm very acutely aware of what my strengths are, but I learned that, she's a mom. She's a nurturer. There are some superpowers she has that I'm supposed to utilize for my benefit. It doesn't always need to be about me or come from me. So I had to learn to listen to that and develop a way to make a plan using somebody else's superpower and not my own. Right. So I think I just started to listen and learn to rely. And I guess it's a trust thing where you have to trust the information coming from your companion to make a decision for the house, like that. Because I was always very mindful because I understand how families are ultimately run because I'm going to get the blame anyway. So I always wanted to have my finger on everything. Like, no, run that through me. But no, I just had to become a better listener, be more trusting. That not only helped our marriage and our relationship, but I think it really helps our children to see this dynamic duo that we've become in the house and how we can solve every problem together. So
Good stuff. Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Bennett, what do y'all got for us? I know Mr. Bennett was one of those guys who didn't have to change much because he was perfect too.
Probably the
okay, we gotta tell it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Empathetic. Paul alluded to it earlier in my mind, it's like, I've always been a very easygoing kind of person. It takes a lot to get me upset. And when something goes wrong in my mind, very quickly, it's like, oh, well, that didn't go wrong. That didn't go right. And I kind of had in my mind, everybody should feel that way. Get the whole get over it attitude. But I recognize not everybody's like that. And not everybody's built like that. So when I started just being more mindful of other folks and how they have and especially Paul, he has a right to feel the way he feels. I may not understand it. I may not even agree with it, but I need to understand that he has the right to feel that way. And I've taken it so far as to kind of share that with our girls as well. That everyone's feelings are valid, and you have no right to act like they don't exist. So when I started doing more of that, things got better, and I think they're going to continue to get better because I'm just more mindful of that. So that's probably the biggest thing.
For me, I think I alluded to it earlier, but simply to love my wife. Literally to love her, not my expectation of her. You know what I mean? Like everyone has, people talk about the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams. Well, you wake up and this is the person who you're with. Can you love that person? Even from a spiritual perspective, Bible talks about it's easy to love those who are like you. That's the easy part. People who think like you or whatever. There's no work there. But I got to look at this is who I married. This is who she is. Can I love her as an individual? Can I respect her boundaries, her likes, her dislikes? I remember the first time I'm a huge nerd Star Wars, Star Trek guy. Now I remember the first time we went to the movies, we saw The Empire Strikes Back re-released back in 1997. She fell asleep during the movie. And that hurt me because I'm like, this is like the greatest thing ever. But she's not into Star Wars. She's not into any of that stuff. She likes Tyler Perry movies and dramas and Hallmark Channel and all that kind of stuff. So we just had to come to an agreement that, look, there's mine, there's hers, and then there's ours. Respect those boundaries. Yeah, there's certain things. Yeah, you want to go to this movie together and say, yeah, let's go. But if there's things that I'm into, like I just went and saw Oppenheimer. She's like, knock yourself out, because she has no interest in science, any of that stuff. But I'm like, I eat that stuff for history, and I'm just into that. So just being able to accept that she doesn't have to be like me, or I always have to be on my program, except for, again, the big things, finances, family, just those core values. Yeah, we're in lockstep on that. But in terms of hobbies and interests and just all those things are what I would fashion her to be. It's like she don't have to be that. And as soon as I stopped trying to force that, no, I'll make you like this. If you see it again. You fell asleep the first time. If you see it again, you'll like it the first time because there was so much stuff in it. Like, no, she's not with it. And I'm okay with that. And that just literally, talk about just the weight, just the stress. It just lifted a lot of things when I loved her for who she was, rather than who I wanted her to be. That's the biggest growth. I'm still growing in that area. But again, it's a lot better than in those early years when I kind of had in my mind what my wife was supposed to be. So yeah, love the person who you're with. And I think you'll be a lot better off, and accept them for who they are.
Good stuff. Brother Harris. Sister Harris.
All right. Change is always good. Don't be reluctant to do that. There's many things I had to change within the relationship. Sure, it took 8 years to get married. So within 8 years before that, definitely self-absorption, lack of empathy. I definitely had to upgrade my vocabulary and learn to articulate words without cursing. So what you see on Shame Sunday is absolutely a product of my environment, and where I come from with the cussing and it's real. So a lot of that I had to pull back, and absolutely, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
No doubt. For me, I'm a little bit different. I had to be willing to be a murderer. Had to kill off all of the old me, being single firstly, because I wasn't single no more. I got to start thinking about other people. But the selfishness, the putting myself above everything, always having things go my way because I wasn't with nobody. All of these things had to change, but I had to be willing to change them. And I think that's what love is. You might not want to do it, but you're willing to consider. The Joker said something to Batman one time. He said, I'm just better than you because I'm willing to do something you're not willing to do. You're just not willing to go above and beyond the extra mile that I am. And I'm always going to be better than you. And I think I take that same approach. I've always been willing to stop this dysfunction, to stop this cantankerousness that is Brooklyn, that's Bed-Stuy, that's the family that I come from, the neighborhood I come from, the examples that I had. That's why I turn on the TV. And again, I always do the same thing when I'm up here. This is near and dear to me. But I had to be willing to murder all of the dysfunction, all of the negative shit that I had going on. I had to be willing to stop it. And that was the biggest change, to be willing to be a murderer.
All right, brother Harris. I mean, when you first went there, I was concerned. I said, brother, don't be admitting to something you don't need me admitting to.
Like, we already done had financial crime on the. We had the DEA has already been called out.
Yeah,
gotta call the FBI too. God damn.
I thought he was about to say he had to be like OJ.
No, but you know what they call that though? In some culture, they call it the ego death, bro. We all gotta suffer the ego death, man. It's hard. It's hard.
So let me go and give my what things I'm in the process of changing. And my lady says, I think too individualistic. That's what she accused me of. Thinking like an individual, I guess because I've been, single or separated or divorced, whatever you want to call it, for so long. I think like an individual. And there's times I can agree that I do. I move like that because, hey, I mean, this is the life I live. I'm in this big old house by myself. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Only person in here with me is my son, and he's 8. Well, at the time he was 16. He's pretty much doing his own thing. He operates on his own beat of his own drum. So, yeah, was I moving individual? Yes, I was, because that's due to my situation. Now, once the Lord blessed me with the opportunity to reunite with my lady, then that's different. I made my changes. I'm trying. It's gonna take me some time. I didn't get this way overnight. It's not gonna change overnight, right? So I'm making the changes I need to. Another one is tone and delivery. I get this a lot. So it's not just my lady saying it. And my coworkers say that sometimes. Sometimes I could be a smart ass, as they call me. I can agree. So, lady, what you say? You be sarcastic at times. Yeah, I'm just like that. I'll say some sarcastic, slick shit. Easy. I don't know why she's in the chat right now agreeing with me. She should be saying I should be just the opposite. But I'm gonna have to reprimand her after the show ends. I'll deal with that later. No, I'm just playing.
No, you
but I can't be that, and so that's something else I'm working on. That's something else I'm definitely working on. But it is what it is. Y'all just pray for your boy. That's all I can pretty much ask. Y'all pray for me. I got one last question for you guys. Before I want to let you guys go, because I make sure I want to respect your time, because I said I want to do the show between 2 to 3 hours, and so it's we're at the 2.5 mark. So yes, I definitely want to respect your time. So I appreciate you guys even be up here with me this long. But this is my last question: did your friend circle have to change when you got married? Did your friend circle have to change when you got married? So, Mike, you want to go first, big brother?
Yeah, I gotta help put these kids to bed in a second, so I'll go first. Yes, I guess the true answer is yes and no. But I want a lot of dudes to understand that if and I guess women too, if there are a lot of women in your so quote unquote friend circle, if they're not willing to be friends with your wife too, if they're not willing to convert to being family friends, then they're naturally going to fall off. Your circle of friends is naturally going to change. So, I was very much willing for everybody that was a friend to become a family friend. And hey, do you want to meet my wife? No, it's because it's cool when it's just me, but not cool when it's me and her. Then I don't want those type of problems. I'm trying to start something different. This isn't going to be the mother of my children. I'm not creating those problems for myself. But yeah, I actually will say our circle of friends changed mostly. What I can say is that once those people start to put on similar life, like once they start to reach similar life goals like you have, they can assimilate into your friend group, right? So I find that it wasn't necessarily a good thing to be around my single friends or my single frat brothers. Most notably, I could tell you I went to it was the night, what was the name? The last fight that Fury and Wilder had. And my boy, he's older too. That's the weird part, but he's single, never been married, nothing like that. It's like, come through to the crib. And he always had wild party, like wings and everything. You know, he drive trucks and stuff. So he got hella bread. Next thing you know, like right before maybe last 2 rounds, a bunch of single women walk in. And that's cool. That's fine. A bunch of women walk into his crib. But then as I'm watching the fight, I guess this lady's just like, well, everybody talking to somebody. Let me talk, you know. So she's asking me questions, but then it started to become a little more invasive. And I'm like, oh, damn, I know what type of party this is. And I just bounced. That was like one of the first times in my life where I just thought, like, yeah, I naturally don't want to be around people who are doing this anymore because I enjoy being around my married friends. You know, I just felt at the time that this is why my friend group has changed. Yes, I can go out with these dudes, you know, when it's just us. We can go out for a beer, we can catch up, we can do those things, but you got to let your single friends live their life because it can be very popping on the married side too. So yeah, I'm more now planning things, going on trips, going to events with my married friends, and that's the friend group I prefer at this particular stage in life.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Brother Benny. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you coming, man. I think you're on mute, Brother Benny. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Pretty easy for us. I mean, my wife's friends, at least at the time I met her, was mostly her sisters. She's got 3 sisters. So they hung out together and whatnot. So she didn't have a lot of outside friends where that was necessarily going to be an issue. And most of the friends that I had, we were all kind of the same mind, very similar. I work in the IT field, so I was around a lot of Asian Indians and that culture. And that actually was that Asian Indian culture that actually got me thinking about marriage, because I didn't come from a family of marriages, but a good friend of mine, he was actually a groomsman in my wedding. And the thing that blew me away was he told me one day that he was getting married. And I was a little offended by that because I was like, you never talked about your girlfriend or whatever. Like, again, I don't know anything about the Indian culture. It's like, he told me, it's like, I don't know who I'm marrying yet. Like, literally, he was going to India to like finalize and pick the person he was going to marry, and then marry and bring her back. And that just totally just sort of just blew me away. Like, that was like culture shock, to the max. And then, but again, since a lot of the friends and associates that I had were of that culture and whatnot, and seeing how marriages worked, and it's like, you make the commitment first and fall in love later. Whereas in Western culture, you fall in love and then you get married later. So really, a lot of the friends that I knew, they were all into that. We're very active in our church, and so again, couples ministry, marriage ministry. So a lot of people who we hang with on a regular tend to be generally married individuals. I don't really have a lot of time unless I'm doing something specific for a men's group or whatever, where I'm hanging out with a lot of just single guys talking about single things. Or if I am in those circles, more times than not, I'm going to talk about marriage to an extent. I was just in a conversation with some guys over the past weekend, just talking about marriage and why, why if you're not married yet, why to consider it. So I'm always, I think an ambassador to a large extent for marriage. And I don't let the culture, the environment impact me in that way. If anything, I'm going to try to have an impact on it and encourage, especially for a lot of these young guys that look, start, thinking about your future seriously, and you being out here, it's not necessarily good. I'm always on young men to to really consider that just as much as young women, because I think just if you look at marriage over like a span, like your lifespan, I generally think that it makes you a better person. Whereas like a lot of times people only look at marriage as a snapshot, an Instagram post or some pictures you post or whatever. It's like everything's frozen in time. But if you look at marriage as a journey, the more you're into it, the better overall. Like I said, the changes that we made, her being more empathetic and me being more patient, understanding, and being able to love people for who they are, it just automatically just makes you a better person. So, so those things about, the hot girl summer trips and the guys going to Vegas and strip clubs. I mean, that's just not our life. That's just not who we associate ourselves with. So for us, it's been pretty easy to avoid those pitfalls of having the single friends in your ear trying to get you to, get you off your square. If anything, like I said, I try to be the change agent in the room and get people thinking differently about things.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff. I appreciate that. Ted, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hank, what's going on, man? I'm enjoying the show. I'm happy I had a chance to come up here and see all this love on a panel. We don't see that a lot in our space, so I definitely wanted to be part of this one.
I sent you out that link, and I definitely wanted you to be a part of it, brother. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna let Lady Di and them go. Then I'm gonna come back to you and ask you the same question, my brother. Right on. Lady Di, brother James.
So you want to go first?
Well, I didn't really my circle didn't really change because I was already changing my circle of friends from way before I got married. I didn't want any toxic people around because I've had experience with family members and stuff and toxic friends in my space. I didn't like the way how it made me feel, made me think. So I just was already kind of like eliminating that early on. So by the time me and James got married, I had the same friends. They didn't go anywhere. They're still here today. Now, new friends that came about, came and went, but who cares? With me, I'm like, all right, bye. Right. So it's like, all right, it don't matter. Like, I'll help you, click and be done with it, or click and be done with it. It's not a big deal. And that's my experience, but I don't.
With me, it's a little bit different. Since I've been in the military, I'm in the military. I don't know if I told you that, so every 3 years I change duty stations. So a lot of the connections that you build, or people like, I really don't have too many connections, rather than like the people I went to boot camp with or the people I got deployed with. So other than that, it's like hard to build relationships in the military because people so used to leaving all the time, and they had to leave their families, they had to leave their girlfriend back home or wife, or so we get so used to that. It's kind of hard to build that relationship with people. So
well, I think you build relationships, but if they stay, I don't think you care like that.
Yeah, it just don't last long. Like it's people like if I ain't seen them in 10 years, but if I got with them or talk to them, it'll be like we seen each other yesterday. But it's kind of like that. So
Good stuff, brother Harris, sister Harris. What you?
Oh man,
the change.
No. Same friends since childhood. I would say they kind of just dwindled out. We're still friends, but no real hanging out and doing any of that. We lived in a long solitude of maybe 12 years, sitting still, being still, not dealing with pretty much anybody, including family. And sometimes it's needed and necessary for you guys to be on purpose and stay focused on what you're doing, because people can come in and, throw a wrench in your shit. And you have to be aware of that. And like Sis said, I've had a couple people try to pop in and it just didn't work out. And I don't have no problem eliminating you because we just don't match. And I'm not going to force any kind of energy. I'm not going to pretend or front or any of that. So, same friends from childhood.
Yeah, my circle didn't have to change. I definitely had to prioritize, but like I said, man, I'm a sports person. So high school, college, different tournaments, I have so many different friends, people who know me at so many different things. And, just that is valuable to me, being able to walk through Brooklyn and be known pretty much anywhere I go because of throwing a ball through a hole. I didn't want to change that about myself. I made a lot of friends, a lot of, relationships throughout my time. But again, the way I prioritize them now may be a little different. The single ladies, the ladies, and just frequenting bad situations that may turn into something different. So just being conscious and prioritizing the valuable relationships. But the missus has so many brothers from, all of the fellas that I know. It's a beautiful thing to see those relationships develop on the strength of me. And now they are her brothers. They call, vent, and it's such a dynamic to see. But I didn't have to change. I just had to prioritize.
Brother Tez, man, for you, what was it? Did you have to make any change for you? When
Definitely. Yes, sir. I did. For me, I had a lot of female friends. Some of them were just friends. Some of them was friends with benefits. And for some reason, I was still kind of holding on. And it took my wife to get me to realize that some of these people didn't have your best interests at hand. And I never seen it because, you've been around them for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You done got so comfortable that you don't realize that sometimes they was plotting on my demise. And it took my wife, somebody on the outside, to be like, hey, I don't think this person got your best interest at hand. And at first I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Me and Keisha been cool for 3 years. And then Keisha told me how she felt once I got married. And it was like, oh, okay. So it did have to change. And I'm still working on that now. I'm a podcast, I'm a friendly guy. So I always meet people, and for some reason it's primarily women, but it's a learning experience because, to answer your previous question, the thing that I had to change about myself was, not being a thought, not giving everybody access to my time and my space. And like I say, I still struggle with it now. The biggest thing that keeps me humble now is I know what I have, and I'm lucky to have what I have, because I see so many brothers that wish they could be married, wish they had a good life. So for me, that's one of them things that really locked me in. Like, all right, brother, this ain't the way to go. So I did have to change. It was mostly women. My brothers kind of stuck with me all the way through. But for the most part, I did have to change my circle.
Man, good stuff, man. As far as me changes, I had to make a lot of changes. Like you said, I'm a reformed man but I'm a changed man now. The blood of Jesus has changed me.
Hallelujah.
So
man,
I realize I can't do that. So which is cool, because some of them I should have been and got rid of. I don't know why I keep them alone. But nonetheless, as far as the male friends, I think I only had really one I had to change, because he was still wanting to do certain things that I just didn't agree with, right? And I told him, I said, if you're going to do anything, it's going to cost me my freedom or my life. I can't be around you. I cannot be around you. I can't put myself in those situations. I got too much to lose. And I got to think about more than just myself. At the time, I have a daughter. That's before my son was born. I had a daughter, so I don't want to put myself in a situation where I can't see my daughter no longer unless it's behind a glass, or she got to come to my gravesite. No, I'm not. So I can't be around you, dude. I'm sorry. I just can't. So I had to make some changes. I had to make those adjustments. Matter of fact, even to the point, I take it even further. Family. Certain members of my family, I just got to love them from a distance. I just know they just not right for me. I just know they're not right for me. And it's just unfortunate, but it is what it is, and me being honest. So I had to make those changes, those adjustments. Not just because I was getting married, just for my life, period. Just for me as an individual. Changes need to be made. Definitely, man. So but guys, I don't, if y'all have to go, I understand. But if y'all could continue the conversation, won't continue to rock with me, I definitely appreciate you. Every last one of you guys and everybody that came up that was here, Trav, Trigger Mike, Black Man Unfiltered, and everybody, man. I appreciate you guys coming. But I'm going to continue to be here because somebody asked me in the chat. One of my favorite chat persons, Travel One. Will Hank have a Q&A? Well, Travel One, just for you and you only. I'm going to stay up for a little longer and have some Q&A with you. If you want to have the Q&A, you want to interview or interrogate him, so be it. Come on with the questions. And if they're inappropriate, I won't answer. But if they're respectful questions, I'll answer. So, ma'am, go ahead and ask your questions. So, guys, again, like I said, if you have to go, I understand. I just appreciate every last one of y'all that came up and other guests that was on here with me. Thank you guys. I just wanted to have this show, man, for a lot of reasons. Because, marriage is a beautiful thing. It really is. And it could be successful as long as we work on it. So we'll see how that goes for them people. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully these people do it. Get up there and put your foot in water and see what happens. Take a roll of dice, see what happens. And you could be one of them successful marriages. But you'll never know unless you take that chance, right? You never know unless you take that chance. So it is what it is. I'm willing to get back in it again and do it all over. I have no problem at all with it. You got something for me, Mr. Smith?
Nah, just wishing you the best with that, and certainly praying that everything works out the way it's supposed to. And again, if you ever need support, just don't hesitate to reach out. But I really thank you for doing this. I think we hear so much in these spaces about what's wrong with us, and we're not highlighting enough of what's going good. I mean, you had a panel of people here who certainly I think kept it on the real as far as what it is and what it's not. And I think we need to be have more advocacy for what we want, rather than just focusing on all of the negative things in our environment. So I thank you for doing this, and hopefully this will be a catalyst for other things that you do, and just let us know if you need us to be a part of anything going forward along these lines. Be more than happy to participate.
Brother Ben, I definitely appreciate you and the wife.
Yes, sir.
Hanging out with me for these.
This is her first time on YouTube. So Hank, you can take the credit. Black Man Unfiltered couldn't get her on, but you can take the credit for this one, that you got my wife on for the first time on YouTube. And so when my kids see this, she's gonna be, oh my gosh, Mom's been on YouTube. So you can claim that you were the one that broke this, but
I appreciate that honor.
Yes,
thank you, Mr. Bennett. I appreciate you blessing us, blessing the basement and everybody in chat with your presence.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Have a great night. Keep doing your thing, Hank. Really appreciate your channel.
You too, brother.
Okay.
You too. Y'all take care now. All right. Tej, you in here with me?
Hank, I'm in here with you, man. I got free from the housework, the yard work, and I'm like, man, let me hop up here. I'm happy that you did this show, bro. When you asked me, I really wanted to do it, but I knew I was gonna be busy, and I ain't want to hold your show up. Like, I gotta wait for Ted. He might not be here to 8. But I knew I wanted to come on because, just like Mr. Bennett said, we see all the time in this space and on these panels that marriage is just whatever. Like, people don't even care, and they don't realize how foundational it is for our community to be married. Now, like I said, man, I know a lot of it's not cool now in 2023 to be married. Wild out, do your thing, do what's best for you. But we be forgetting that, especially if you got children, it ain't about you no more. And that's one of my biggest things, bro. When I had my kids, I realized like, hey, this ain't for me no more. Like the fun I want to have, the thing that I want to do, if it's gonna impact them negatively, I don't need to do these things. So I'm happy that you had this show. I want to do more. I done been told I need to do stuff like this because said I'm 35. People think I'm younger. I look older now because I'm a little rough. I ain't went to the barber shop. But the point is, man, I know that there are brothers that really want to be married. There are women that really want to be married. And we have to be able to show a good representation of what marriage is. Mr. Bennett and his wife do a good job. Mr. He said, she said, do a great job. My wife said she would have came up here, but the problem is we got 2 kids, so it would have been a whole family, and we weren't ready to, you know, my little boy ain't ready. Now he'll be on camera. It's just he gonna be trying to eat the microphone and stuff. And I ain't want to distract the chat with that. So, but yeah, I'm happy to be here, bro. I love these conversations, and they definitely important. And I'm happy that you getting back out here, bro. You know how it is out here. It's rough. So to see that you heading that way, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, I do understand. I do understand. Like I said, I've been through the trials and tribulations. I've been through the ups and downs. You know, I've been, you know, to the point where, you know, doing all the hoopla, the wedding and all of that, engagement, you know, and all of that good stuff, right? I've been there and I've seen the lows. Now, granted, I'm at fault because I was at my low because of the selfish decisions that I made, right? But I've seen the lows, but I'm not, let me say this, I'm not Jay anymore. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There was a couple years where I was on that mindset. Ain't no way I'm getting married again. The hell with this. Not worth it. You know, but it took some time, some therapy, and some good conversation with some good brothers to convince me and have that conversation with me and talk to me. Hey, man, it's not that bad. Just because you always failed the first time don't mean the next one's going to. And you know the reason why it failed. And you know what you need to do. I said, you're right. You're exactly right. I know. I understand what I've done wrong. I understand that where I've fallen short, where I could have did things differently, could have handled things differently, could have said things different, could have moved differently. I know that now. So my new lady, who's going to be blessed one day to get my last name, is going to reap the benefits of that. You know what I'm saying? She's going to reap the benefits of the mistakes I made previous, because I know how to move different. You know, they say, you know, with your first child, you know, you just out there, you out there blind. You don't know, have no idea. But by your second and third child, you're a professional, right?
Facts.
Now, Lord, I don't want to go through no third marriage to be a professional. Hell no. No. This next one's the last one.
Yeah. Hey,
baby, I know you hear me out there. This next one's the last one now.
Hank, I heard I can't remember who it was, but they were like divorce never crossed their mind. It's that way in our house too, man, because it's like, look, we know what's out here in the streets. We gonna make this work. And we came from both of us had 2 parents household. We seen what marriage can do and the benefits of it. I'm not saying that, you know, everybody children gonna bat 10 for 10. But if you get 8 for 10, that's an incredible batting percentage. So it's 5 for 10. So it's like, for me, man, I know that the divorce conversation for me and my wife, it hasn't come up because it's like we know what's important now. The children need to see this household. Now, stuff just become so toxic, as they say. Even then, I'm gonna try to work through it. I ain't trying to be back out here, bro. I'm not. I said, me and CJ talk all the time, my podcast partner, about, you know, how it is out here. And I'm like, he tell me every day, bro, you lucky. And I'm realizing how lucky I am. So, and like I said, man, it's just a weird space. And I hope a lot of these brothers get out of the red pill rage and understand that you got to come out of it. Because I was like you too, Hank. At one point in time, bro, I was like, man, I'm having too much fun in the streets. I'm having a great time out here. And then I would go to bed feeling empty. Nothing could fill that void of me wanting a family and wanting a wife. And I was just like, all right, I'm through. And I cut it off. So I know how it is, man. I really hope a lot of brothers get to see this and be like, all right, Tez, Hink, Mr. He Said, She Said, Mr. Bennett, Trigger Mike, I forgot the other couple. They said it can be done. Go out there and try it. You got to dip your toe in the water, as you say, Hink. You got to, bro.
And that's it, man. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do it, man. Look, I'm gonna be transparent. I got a message during the show, and it's kind of disturbing. You know, a guy I used to work with, coworker. He's talking about getting a divorce. So I let him know, hey, look, after this show, I'm gonna give you a call. We're gonna talk. I'll talk to you after the show. I couldn't answer then because I'm in the middle of the show.
Right.
But when I see that message, I'm kind of like, oh shit. And that's, look, I'm not a fan of divorce. I'm let it be known that I'm not a fan of divorce. I believe in fight to the end. Now, unfortunately, it's not up to me if the person you're with wants that. I can't stop them. Right? You can't. If they want it, then I can do about it. I can talk to them blue in the face, but if they're already set, it is what it is.
Right.
So, fortunately, with the lady, my lady, we both had that conversation. That's not it. I don't believe in that. I'm gonna take my ball and go home. We're not doing that. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna work this thing out. You just got to know how to communicate. And one of the best ways of communicating is knowing how each other deals with conflict.
Facts.
Knowing how each other how do you argue? Do you play dirty? Do you go low blow, or do you, at least try to say somewhat respectful when you are having that disagreement? You know what I'm saying? Some people go dirty. We know that, and that's not cool. But yeah, you got to have those conversations with your lady, man.
Hank,
prior to going down that aisle, so you
agree.
know what you're getting into.
Hank, I was just gonna add, I think that's the biggest key, communication. And like you said, learning how to argue, learning how to get your points across. Like before I met my wife, I had to win every argument. I don't care what happened, I gotta win it. But when I got married, that arguing strategy didn't work with my wife because she would shut down because she would feel like she wasn't able to get her point out. So therefore, we not learning nothing. It's just I'm arguing, she quiet, no resolution. So what I had to do was I had to make the conversation a conversation instead of an argument. Instead of it being I gotta win, how about we find out what the problem is and we win? And I did not understand that because I was so used to being the man on top. I gotta win. But when I realized it wasn't about the quarterback, it was about the team, that's when it was like, okay, I got it now. So now if we have a situation that get rough or they go bad, it's just, all right, what can we do? I see you a little bit quiet. Did I do something to tick you off? Did I say something? Well, baby, you said this and it made me feel away. All right, now we got a lane to drive down. Now I know what I'm working with instead of being like, bro, I ain't do nothing. I don't care what you talking about. Hey, at the end of the day, this how I'm gonna do it. And that wasn't working for me. So communication is the key. Y'all, you gotta know your triggers and you gotta know how this person is going to react if I do this. If I yell, instant shutdown. If I'm willing to talk, we got some action so we can fix it.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And that's one of the things you definitely have to learn. You definitely have to pay attention, you know what I'm saying, and take notes on. Little things like that, man, is very important.
Facts.
You know, I'll sit back and watch how do you interact with your friends. Because I know if you're gonna do your friends like that, it's only a matter of time. Just gonna roll down my way. You know, how am I going to address it? Am I going to tolerate or put up with that? Because me, I would say something on site, on point, right then and there.
You don't wait till you get to the house.
No. If we have issues, I'm gonna address it. Look, my lady will tell you, I left at a restaurant before. I have.
Yeah.
Now, some people, oh, you're so mean. You're such a tyrant. No, I don't accept bullshit, man. I don't accept bullshit, man. Look, I'm 48 years old. I ain't got time for this shit. I ain't got time for these games.
Right.
We too old for this. You know what I'm saying? We not young and spry like you, Ted, in your 30s. I'm not in my 20s no more. 20s, shit. You wouldn't stand a goddamn chance of me. I've been to hit your neighbor on purpose just to piss you off and watch me coming back and forth to her house. In fact, I might knock on your door on accident. Oh, my bad, wrong door. That's how old he was. I'm just gonna say that's old he.
Right.
That's speak from the pair. I'm changed. I'm changed, man. Ted.
Correct. Hey, man.
Thank to the blood of the Lamb, baby.
That's it. I was there. I feel you, brother. We both went through that transformation, so I know how it go.
Lily, she said I came back to the restaurant and got you later. Well, it's the truth.
Hey, you ain't gonna leave with her. Come on, man. You just had to prove the point.
I left her.
Oh, Lord.
I went home. She called me, and I came back and got her. I left her.
Oh, man. Hank, you cold,
I live what I talk about. When I talk about shit, I lived it. I done it. I'm not one of these YouTube dudes that talk that shit and they even done shit. No, I'm telling you, I've done it.
Facts.
She was a victim, but I ain't got time for this. I'm about my business, man, and I'm about doing what I need to do. And she knows that's why I'm still around.
Yes, sir.
That kind of simple. No, I'm a dime plus 99, Ted. I said 25 times over. I'm a dime plus 99. She know why she got me. She know. Look, she understand why she got me because she know I'm gonna be there for her. I'm down with her. You know what I'm saying? I won't let her fall. I won't let her. No, I'm gonna do my best to help her be successful, and I'll do whatever I have to do that.
Yes, sir. And that be the thing. That be the thing, bro. My wife told me something that shocked me one time. She told me that I wouldn't be with you unless you was the person that you are now. And it was something about that saying this. I'm like, man, I didn't made mistakes. We done had arguments and stuff like that. But she trusted me to always get it right. Not be perfect, but to get it right. Now, me getting it right, I might have to have a 40-minute conversation with her to get it right. But she trusts me enough to get it right. That was the same thing that your lady did. He gonna get it right. I know why he left. She know why you left. But it's like, okay, I may have been wrong, but I know he gonna get it right. That's why I say the quarterback can have a great game, but if the team ain't playing good, it don't matter. And vice versa. So it's like no matter what my role is, if I'm the quarterback, the team still gotta play well. And she trusted me to play well and include the team, bro. And I think that's how your situation went too, bro.
Exactly. I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you, hey, do everything I did, right? No,
whoa.
It may not be for you, and it may not end well for you.
Facts.
I'm different from Dan because I don't know your individual situation, but what I can tell you to do, don't accept and put up with bullshit.
Facts.
Be honest and straightforward with that individual, and hold tight to your standards, whatever those standards are. Stand on it. Don't waver. Do not. because there's a lot of things that could be said if you was to do it. Now she's gonna lose her respect for you.
Yep.
And once a woman loses respect for you, you're done. It's hard as hell to get it back, and sometimes you don't get it back. We was on the show last time on King Talk. The question was, would you want your woman to love you or something like that? I said I would want my woman to respect me
more than anything.
Yes, exactly, Tez. Exactly. If you respect me, you're telling me you love me by you showing me the respect that I deserve and need. That's everything.
That's the real man / husband answer, because it's impossible to love me if you don't respect me. I genuinely believe unless you respect me, you don't truly love me. Because if you willing to cross my boundaries, if you willing to emotionally abuse me, you don't respect me. You can't love me. Bro, that's a great point, man. It's no way. Love just don't counteract respect in the eyes of men. And that's once again, these conversations that more men need to have, because it's a man out there that's saying right now, I'd rather be loved. But brother, if you ain't got the respect, it ain't no love. That's just how it is for us. We gotta stop. We gotta stop giving this like the new age stuff credit. Because if your woman can talk crazy to you and it's no, I don't want to say fear, but it's not a respect boundary, where do you think this gonna go? Because at any time she can fly off the handle and she know that it ain't no repercussion. I'm not saying physically or nothing like that. She ain't worried about you leaving. She ain't worried about you putting in a place. She ain't worried about you saying nothing. You got to be real careful with it. Very careful with that. So you right, Hank. Respect number one. Everything else come after that. No matter what order you put in, respect got to be number one.
Exactly. And it's very important, man. It is very important. Again, guys, stand on your square. Whatever your standards is, stand on it. Don't move. Don't maneuver. Don't move. You operating within your standards. Now, like I said, hopefully your standards are good. You on some bullshit, she gonna see right through that.
Yeah.
And hopefully she get away from your ass. Matter of fact, you won't get away from your own ass if you on that bullshit. Don't be on that bullshit, dude. Don't be on that bullshit. Again, fellas, you got to have that tough conversation. Look, I don't care about the response. You don't like a response. You don't like your response. Whatever. But you need to have the tough conversation and get the answers that you need and what you're looking for. If you don't, then that's going to be trouble, man.
Yes, sir.
Because without you asking the tough questions, you're not getting the answers. Don't be surprised when that shit comes up that you don't like, because you never asked the question. You never had the communication. You never talked to the individual. So you don't know what you was getting into. You was just going in there blind, and nobody wants to go in anything blind. Shit. Nothing sexy about going in and dealing with the unknown. I'm not, that's not my type of thing. I need to, what I'm investing in, what I'm going into, what I'm about to step into. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say, you hit on a good point, and I had an experience like this in my own life. I had a young lady that I was thinking about marrying. We were together maybe 4 years, and we didn't have a lot of tough conversations, like about personal life stuff, like what you went through, things that I went through. And I remember, like, she always would feel kind of detached, like, you know, it was like she could never really, you know, love. And remember, this going on the 5th year. And I remember asking her, I was like, we need to sit down and have a conversation, because it just seemed like stuff ain't going the way we want it to go. We talking about getting married, and the connection is lacking. I asked her straight up, do you still have feelings for somebody? She told me, yeah, Hank. We had been dating 4 going on 5 years, and she still was in love with an ex-boyfriend. And I had no idea, because I did not ask. I felt it, but I felt like I ain't want to rock the boat. oh man, we love each other. We gonna get married. We gonna have kids, and I don't want to mess nothing up. But the day we had that conversation, everything I need to know came out that night. You can't love me because you still in love with him, and you was never gonna tell me. You was gonna say yes. You was gonna walk down the aisle. You was gonna have my kids, and you wasn't even gonna tell me that you was still in love with your ex. That you can't be fearful when it comes to them conversations. You, like you said, you might like the answers, but at least you will have them. I didn't like her telling me she was still in love with a dude from 2 years ago, but I had to be like, okay, I get it now. Like I said, I don't know what she's doing now, and I don't care. But the point is, imagine if I would have married this lady and she never told me she still loved this guy. Never told me she still thought about him. Never told me that she resented the way that they broke up. It was a scary situation. But at the end of the day, the answers was needed, and look at the resolution. She where she at, I'm where I'm at. I'm good.
And that's important. I look, I know y'all scared to answer questions.
Facts.
But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be the case, because that'll save you a lot of heartache. That'll save you a lot of trouble, time, and wasted energy. Because you're asking the question, you're looking for the answers that you need to know. You know, and it allows her to not only to get that shit up off her chest, you know, be vulnerable with you, but now you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now you're showing her that you do care at least enough to even ask. And those are good points for you. Okay, well, he cares enough to ask, to even inquire about that. And let you know how serious you are.
Facts.
If you know, serious, you wouldn't ask these questions, but you sound like you're a man of knowing what he wants. So why would I want to rock with you? Yeah, that's a must, man. That's definitely a must, man. Again, this show was very important tonight, and like I said, and it stems off a couple of things that you know that I was a witness of and hearing and seeing, and it was mainly because when I was on King Talk, and a couple of guys on King Talk was talking about marriage. One of the guys, you know, of course, he was married and divorced and been through it, but another, the younger dude he never been married. And he spoke like he's been, you know, been hurt and been through a couple of divorces.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, let's do him talk. Like, yeah, man, you never been through it. You living through somebody else's trauma, somebody else's story, somebody else's issue. How do you know? You don't know if you're going to be unsuccessful. You don't know if you're going to fail at this. You don't. But you'll never know unless you try, and learn from people's mistakes. Learn from Hick's mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Learn from everybody else around your mistakes, and move accordingly. You know, again, I told him, guys, look, I'll step down in looks if I could step up in what's between her ears. If her mind's right, is she respectful? Is she loving, nurturing, giving? And she's willing to get on my team and my standards. If she can hit 7 out of 10, I could rock with that.
Yes, sir.
Is she a 10? No. But she's loving, she's respectful, she's understanding, she's giving, she's nurturing. She got those other attributes that I can rock with, I can deal with. I'll take a step down in looks. If that's what I got to do, so be it. But at the end of the day, guess what? He ain't going to be happy. He's going to be good. He going to look over and know, hey, that Mrs. Hink, boy, he on point.
Yes, sir.
Oh, y'all going to be cool because y'all got that dime. But again, looks do eventually fade over time. You know, I don't care how much surgery you take to get it world, they don't always going to stay the same. You're going to change. Gravity going to get a hold of some shit.
Thanks. Hink, you dead on. And I make my last point because I know you about to rap, but I agree with you. And I tell brothers this now. I got a brother that's doing great in the city of Memphis that I talk to all the time about relationships and marriage. And he a pretty good status guy. And for him, it's hard to find good women. And I told him the same thing you said, Hank. You might have to drop down in looks to get what you want, because he really do want to be married. Like, bro, I done said this numerous times. My wife wasn't necessarily my type, but I knew what she was. She was a good mother. I knew she was gonna be that. I knew she was gonna be a good wife. I knew she could cook. I knew she could clean. I knew she could listen. And I knew she wasn't judgmental. So I got the things that I looked for in a wife more than what I looked for in the junk that I was just gonna be knocking down on a Saturday night. What's more important for me? And bro, that's what I'm saying. We gotta stop looking at the looks, man. I get it. Everybody want that dime on their own, but will she go to the next man on eventually? We never talk about that. Man, I'm like you, Hank. I had no problem with accepting my wife and being lucky to have her. I'm the lucky one, because the way these streets is, I'm blessed, brother. And I get told that all the time. So I agree. I think a lot of these brothers got to stop looking so much for looks and looking for the mind and the heart, and understand that, bro, you not going to find too many out here that care more about you than they care about themselves. And if you do, lock it down, bro. Don't even waste time.
Hey, I know what I have. The woman I have now, I've been looking at her ever since my freshman year of college. Now, of course, life took us in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Life went full circle for me, and I'm lucky enough she's available. I'm available, and so guess what? We rocking it out.
Yes, sir.
You know, we talk about it. Excuse me. One of the things was back in the days, I couldn't. She at the time she was engaged, right?
Woo.
That's why we couldn't take it to that next level with her, because I gave her an ultimatum. I know she probably only like me telling the story, but I'm gonna tell her.
Hey, Hank, you like me? My wife hate all my stories, brother. She be clenching every time I say something.
I'm gonna be real vulnerable with you guys, so y'all don't use it against me when y'all see me on another show. I know y'all are, cause y'all heartless motherfuckers out here.
True.
Nonetheless, when I first met her back in '94, you know, it was good. Now, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you I wasn't talking to other women well before I really started talking to her, but I was, you know, and she always asked me who's in, because it was like 4 girls I was intimate with up there, but she'd never know. She knows one of them, but she don't know the rest of them. So, and I don't kiss and tell, so that's why she'll never know.
Feel that.
So nonetheless, let's get back to the story. I'm shit. Tell you silly, you get me off kilter. But she was engaged at the time, and so that's why I could never take it to that next level with her because of the situation. But like I said, I gave her an ultimatum. I said, "But I can't, in good faith, go any further with you because you're engaged. Now, you let that ring go, you give it back. We can go further. We can do something different." And I expressed that to her, how much I liked her. Dude, I love that girl. I loved her at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm 19 going on 20. You kind of scared to use those words, man, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if she's going to hurt you, take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know, right? And I didn't know. I'm still young in this game. So I shared it, but she never shared that. And so it's like, damn, is she playing me? Am I a game to her? Am I just being strung along? So now I'm thinking about what some of the OGs have taught me. And she might be playing you. She might just be taking advantage of you. She might just be using you and all that good stuff. All of that shit played in the back of my mind, man. All of that shit. But yet I kept pressing. And I really liked her. But it was to the point, like I said, I said, look, I'm having other options out here. I'm having other ladies asking me, trying to talk to me, trying to get at me. Am I going to continue to wait for her? or am I going to move on to something else? So what ended up happening? End up meeting my daughter's mother, and this is funny. So in college, where I went, Sweet Mates, we the room was, you had 2 rooms, but you shared a bathroom and a shower and all that, right? And so I was about to go in the bathroom and take a shower, and I walked in, and my future baby mom was in the bathroom. She was dating my Sweet Mate, right? I'm like, damn, oh shit. And I accidentally, she was in the user bathroom doing a bit, and I walked in on, I said, oh, my bad. And I walked out. You know, she seen a dime plus 99 there. She like what she seen. I came in, you know, no shirt on, just a towel around my waist. You know, she liked what she seen. Built up real nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'3", probably about 220, 225 at the time, built like a goddess. You know, she liked what she seen. So I said, my bad. I walked out. Now, of course, I didn't start seeing that girl when she was my Sweet Mate. Come to find out, my daughter's mother and my grandmother, well, her grandmother and my grandma know each other. They went to churches. So that's how we even met, got to talking again. She's at the church. I said, well, how you and such and such doing? She said, we ain't together no more. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear it. What happened? Yeah, we've been broke up for a couple months, but I just didn't want to hurt his heart. But I knew eventually I had to break up with him. And so we were just being friends, being nice. And that's how the whole conversation started. But she started taking a liking to me, right? And so she even approached the woman I was interested, because they worked together in the call center. You know, work studies at a call center. So, and she let her know, hey, I'm interested in talking to him. But see, I didn't know that conversation happened. I didn't know it. When I went to talk to my with the lady I was talking to, I let her know. I gave her that ultimatum right then, and I told her, you know, what we gonna do? And she just couldn't do it. And it wasn't until like later on down the road that I found out she had this conversation. But I was honest with her, straightforward. I want to be with you. I like you. But I can't continue doing this because I don't want to violate your what you got this engagement, right? You know, I just didn't want to do it. So that's why it never really happened for us then. You know, down the road, you know, I ain't seen her in years, but I seen her sister, because her sister still live in the city, and I would ask about it. You know how she doing? Oh, she's good. She married. They got kids. I said, oh, okay. Well, next time you talk to you, make sure you tell her I said hello. And so it was years down the lane when she was going through, about to get a divorce and all that, and I seen her again. Now, of course, we talked, we dated a little bit, it was on and off, but it never got to that point, because at the time I was still going through what I was going. I was separated and all that stuff, and so it wasn't totally complete. So we were still on and off, but you know, it never matriculated to anything from there. But I was still, you know, have conversation and talk to her, because you know, we was friends. You know what I'm saying? We was good friends. I really liked that but what I loved about us is our friendship that we developed. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that makes our relationship right now so special, is because we have that friendship. We have that friendship. To this day, we have that friendship. You know what I'm saying? I tell her all the time, I said, I've been knowing you forever, since 94.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yes, sir.
So that's why it's going to be so easy to be with her, to marry her, and to build a life with her, because we have that history. You know, I can't say it enough. Am I lucky and blessed that everything worked out for this way? Yeah, I am. Because it very well could have went in a different direction.
Yes, sir.
But you know, the Lord see fit that we got back together. We doing what we need to do. Now I won't give too much detail, because she's gonna get the hints and have ideas when it's coming. I don't tell her when it's coming.
Yeah, don't do that.
Surprise, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this: we going to the courthouse. She and I both agreed on that. You know, we going ring shopping here soon. We both agreed on that. You know what I'm saying? So what my plan is for us to have a reception for the family and friends. We're not doing a big wedding thing. We're gonna do the courthouse. We're gonna have a nice little small intimate reception for family and friends to come to, and a nice honeymoon, and go from there, man, and build our life. I met her kids. She met mine. Our kids are very respectful, loving. Because blended families could be challenging. Yes, thank God you ain't got to go through that. I hope you never have to go through that. But it's challenging, right? It really is. I had to show on it before. So for y'all out there who wants to know about blended family, I did talk about the pros and cons of blended family. Check it out on my YouTube channel. So check it out. But it's challenging. It's not easy, and at times could be tough. I was in a blended family. I had a stepmother and stepbrother, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I was an asshole. I know it's hard to believe, but I was an asshole as a stepson. I wasn't always the easiest child to deal with. Towards my stepbrother or my stepmother, I was an asshole. So I think it's kind of karma come back and get me because there was some challenge when I was.
That's how it worked. That's how it worked.
Hopefully I got to deal with the kids all of a sudden turning little demons on me because they sweet kids, good kids, respectful kids. You know what I'm saying? I hope that'll all of a sudden change. I mean, when I bless it with my last name, but you never know. But we're gonna get through it. However, we got to work. How we're gonna find a way to get through it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be all good. But yeah, she's a good woman. She's a good woman, and like I said, I gotta get off the market. I got to. I can't let them snakes have at this frog out and fat enough for me. No. She's for me.
Facts.
So it's all good. Well, Ted, I'm gonna shut this thing down, man, because it was a great show. I enjoyed it. Everybody came up here. Ted, I want to thank you, brother, for coming up here. I know he's kind of late, but hey, I appreciate whatever input you came up here with and gems and knowledge you dropped on us. So I greatly appreciate that. Trev, Trigger Mike, Lady Di, Brother James, the Harris family. Thank all you Black Man Unfiltered. Thank you guys for rocking out, Brother Bennett and Sister Bennett. Thank you for rocking out with me. I appreciate that, guys, man. We need more of this.
Yes, sir.
We need more of this to see couples and family and have the real conversations. Like I said, I know I asked a question about the downsides. Yeah, those need to be talked about because people need to know what's going to happen. We all know everything's not horseshoes and unicorns and flowers and roses. We know that. We know that there's going to be some goods and bads. How are we going to be able to handle it? How are we going to deal with it? How do we make the adjustments? What are we going to do to address when we deal with these issues? You know what I'm saying? That all of that needs to be talked about. Now we're gonna keep it respectful. We not go too into detail of what the story, but still, conversations still need to be had.
Yeah,
brother, I appreciate you coming up here, man, rocking out with me, man, and I'm sure we're gonna continue to work together again, and we're gonna collaborate on some other stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
So
thank you so much, bro. Thank you for having me up, man. I've been saying I was gonna get over here. I finally got over here, and I hope to do more in the future, man, because once again, voices like these are needed, bro, because we don't hear enough of this in the space that we in. You know that, I know that, everybody that hopped up on the panel know that. So we can be the one to spread the message of marriage. And I'm willing to do it, bro. I appreciate you just having me up.
Well, Brother Ted, before you go, man, this is your first time in the basement, so I gotta ask a question. I can't let you go without asking that question, bro. What is your guilty pleasure songs, bro? What is them songs you like to listen to, that you like to rock out to, but you be embarrassed if your wife heard you listen to your kids or your family and friends? But when that motherfucker come on, you crank that son of a bitch up. You ready to get crunk in that motherfucker when that song come on. What are them songs, brother? I know you got a list for me. Go ahead.
Man, why would you do that, man? These folks take my...
You got the mic. You can sing a couple bars if you need to.
I'm retired from singing. I used to be cold back in the day. I'm retired now, right.
It used to make them women weak at the knees when you sang. I heard that about you. Ted, I heard that about you.
Hey, Hey, I'm telling you, brother, I got song books, I got lyrics, but I'm retired, so you know. But man, that's crazy, bro. These folks about to take my black card, man. One of them, bro, is Caught in a Trap by Elvis. That was a lot of my life, brother.
My life.
If the lyrics of the song, he pretty much his wife always think he cheating on him. And before I was married, I was a wild boy, so I could identify with that song. But yeah, that's one. Major, How Crazy Are You? I guarantee you ain't heard that song. But I would say number one guilty pleasure is Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. One of my favorite songs of all time. I love the message. I love the video. And like I said, man, I ain't bumping that in the car with CJ. But if I'm by myself, I got it word for word, baby. I'm in there.
I know that's right. No. I know that's right. All right, big brother, you be safe tonight, man. You have a good night, man. It's to tell your wife and kids I say hello, brother.
All right,
Easy,
thank you,
man.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, man, I had a good time tonight. Man. It was a good show. I feel like it's a productive show, but it was a much needed show. Definitely much needed show. So thank you guys for rocking with me. For everybody that came in, put messages in chat. I know I didn't post a lot of the messages, and I apologize because I was so in tune with the conversation. But I like I said, I was able to see and read some of the things I was saying. Some people got a little loose and wild. I had a time out. So come on, guys, let's try to keep it classy, man. I understand we like to have a good time, say certain things, but some conversations, it's not good for, right? So it's not good for. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully, you guys hit that like button. If you didn't hit it coming in, please hit it on the way out. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Please share it with any of your loved ones, your friends, and family. I greatly appreciate it. I promise you I do. And once again, thank you for rocking with me. I thank you for coming. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And we're going to continue to do this thing. We're going to continue to rock out, have more great conversation, more good content. It's coming your way. I promise you guys we're going to keep rocking out and doing a thing. Doing a thing. So for all the men out there looking to get married, man, good luck. Do the work. Get yourself right. Do the proper things you need to do. Ask the tough questions. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you vet her well and find out as much information you can. How she moves, how she acts, how she carries herself. Find all those things out. It's very important, man. It's very important. But hey, once you find it out, man, and you realize she's a good woman, she's worth it, go ahead and jump that broom. Go ahead and jump that broom. You'll be fine. I believe in you guys. I really do. So y'all have a great night, and I'll see you on the next one. Right on.